This episode is brought to you by Farm Bureau Financial Services, Zach Miller Agency. If you're looking for an insurance agent with a personal touch, someone willing to have the real conversations about what's important to you, assistance with submitting claims, and offering quality coverage options, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Zach Miller Agency may be the place for you. Whether you need home, auto, farm, commercial, life, or health insurance, we're here for you. Check us out at agentzachmiller.com. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agriculture Insurance Company.
Welcome, males and females, to our Evergreen series, where we will go through tier lists, cover conspiracies, and a lot more. Today is going to be our movie tier list. It's kind of Vance's idea. We do have Ryan Battershaw here in the house again.
Hello.
Always love having you back.
I like being here.
Good.
We did talk. The movie idea was we kind of talked about that when Ryan was helping us with producing and stuff too. So, and then it was just an easy one. We're obviously going to be taking some time off. We thought it was a good time to do a Evergreen. We're obviously recording this a lot earlier than when we're going to release this to everybody. So
yeah, this will be you'll be hearing this around Christmas time.
Yep.
So,
this will be it's kind of what we'll do it's kind of a touching base / useless.
Yeah, we'll
together.
do one of our special release type things. Kind of excited about it. These are kind of fun. This kind of gets off the topic of interviewing people and also gets off the topic of news and politics and all that crap.
Just fun stuff that means
lighthearted.
nothing.
Yeah.
Let's get after it. I'm excited for some of the other stuff we're going to do too. So we're definitely we're just dipping our toes into this Evergreen mini series we're doing, and
I'm definitely a conspiracy theory buff. So
Yeah.
when we get into those, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. I think we'll see. We're gonna try to pick like one conspiracy, not do a bunch. Do one conspiracy per episode. So that'll be a lot of fun. But Vance, you want to tee us up for kind of what we're doing today?
All right. So what we're doing is we don't know what we did. We didn't go off of based off any lists or whatever. We did our own. Each of us did our own research, and we did our top fives in the comedy genre, drama genre, action drama genre, sports genre, trilogies / series, and then sequels, cult classics, and then we're gonna rank our top 5 overall. And then we're going to have a little discussion about it. Each of us are going to do our 5, and then we'll probably talk about it on each genre and stuff like that. And hopefully we have different lists and everything like that. And I will say this was much harder than I thought it was going to be.
I would agree.
And I will preface this with mine that a lot of these aren't going to be like your normal, what you'd think. Maybe in some of these I went with what I thought. If I could only watch 5 movies in this genre for the rest of my life, that's what I went with.
I like that. I like that way of doing it.
Look at it.
That's kind of what I did. As I was going through these, I kind of realized a lot of the ones that I've definitely left off that people are like, it's one of the greatest movies.
Yeah,
of
we're
all
going to
time.
get some hate for this list, but
And I don't really care.
I like the way I like doing it that way because then I can talk more about it and it feels more genuine.
I took it as this is my useless assumption on my top 5.
There you go. There you go. That works. So mine aren't going to be like listed in like number 1 is the number 1 movie, but I'll have the top 5 for everybody. So you want me to start in comedy?
You're gonna start comedy, and then we'll go.
Okay. I mean, I'm doing all 5.
Yeah, go ahead and do your 5.
Okay. So
Do we want to react to it, or do everybody's and then react?
I think we react to each person. Do you think?
Yep, that works for me.
And I'll stop in between each one. So in no particular order, Tommy Boy.
Solid. It was on a list.
That wasn't even on my research list.
Really?
I totally missed that.
To me, it's just
I
a
love
classic,
it, but I missed it.
classic comedy movie.
And that just ruined another list for me. That I also missed another one.
And I think part of it's because Chris Farley passed away. You know, it's one of those things where it was one of his best performances, in my opinion.
Yep.
And
A lot of nostalgia there.
yeah, so great movie. I have Hot Fuzz.
Ooh,
That's on the list too.
That's a deep cut for me. That one, I probably wouldn't have that in my top 5, but I do like.
I
that
love
movie.
Hot Fuzz, and I love those guys.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that here in a minute.
Okay.
Super Troopers.
Yeah, that was on my list.
Solid.
I literally watch that over and over and over and over again. And I'm not a huge comedy person. I don't like comedy movies that much, so that's probably why my list is so unique because I just don't get into them that much.
I love comedy movies, and that was probably comedy was my hardest.
Was it? It was
By
my
far.
easiest.
Yeah, I had probably 3-4 pages of comedies, and I sat there and scratched them out.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
Comedies were definitely my hardest, and Super Troopers was on my list. And the reason I love Super Troopers is what it did for those guys.
Yeah.
Like it kind of kicked off that, and it created Beer Fest and created all this other stuff on top of it that made it that awesome.
Yep. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
So the same
Kinda,
guys.
as soon as you said I'll see a deal, I was like, oh, that one's definitely got to be
Still
in there.
one of my favorite zombie movies of all time.
Yeah.
yep.
And then Step Brothers. I had to put it in there because of how hard I laughed. I'm not a huge Will Ferrell guy, but just how hard I laughed at that movie altogether, I had to put it on there.
It's a great movie.
Yep. So there's my list. You got any critiques? Did it surprise you coming from me?
Not really. Not for me anyway. Those 5, they were all on my list at somewhere. I don't know. I tried to put stuff on here I didn't think you guys would put on as well.
It's kind of what I kind of did too a little bit.
Yeah, because I definitely wouldn't have Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead. Like they probably wouldn't even make my top.
And Paul, have you watched that one? by
Paul?
them?
I do like Paul. Paul I like much better.
Paul.
That's it's a little alien.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one is actually I do like that.
And then World's End was another solid one
World's End,
by them
yeah.
that were pretty
Oh,
good.
they were in that. Yeah, that was them.
Yeah, that's my list.
Perfect. I'll just rank mine from 5 to 1. I did rank mine in order. And I have the same. I have Step Brothers. You had Step Brothers. Like you said, that's. I mean, I can put that thing on. I could literally watch that every single day and not get bored of it. It's such a great movie. And those two guys together are
one of the best duos in comedy.
It was hard. Step Brothers was. I kind of was fighting between Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, and Dewey Cox Walk Hard or Walk Hard the Dewey Cox story. Those were the two that. They're the 3 to get into that 5th spot that I was kind of on. It was definitely that John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell thing right there. 4. So at this list I have 6 actually. 4 is a tie. I couldn't split these 2 up. It's Animal House and Caddyshack, the 2 of them together. I couldn't rank one ahead of the other, and I still wanted a 5th place because those 2 were right in line with each other. So I kept those 2 together.
Those were honorable mentions on mine.
Were they? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And then number 3 is Anchorman for me. And that's mostly because that is what the main Will Ferrell thing was, started it. The other part of the Anchorman thing that I really love was it was kind of the beginning of meme culture, but it was in a way of speaking in movie dialogue.
80% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah. So, and then 2 is Dumb and Dumber.
Another good one.
Just a great classic. And then my number 1 comedy movie is The Jerk.
It's a good one.
That's solid.
I love The Jerk.
You mixed in some older ones.
Yep.
I haven't seen The Jerk in a few years. I should rewatch that one. I really like that one, actually.
I was born a poor black child.
Trading Places was also on my short list.
Yeah.
I saw that one. As I was doing research, I was like, oh, I forgot about that movie, but it didn't really make my list, I guess. But it's a great movie too.
I like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy's comedy gold.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have any Eddie Murphy on my list.
I didn't either.
That's surprising. And I don't. The other thing that there was a ton, like an honorable mention there was a ton for me of movies. Robin Williams movies.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
one of my favorite actors, comedic actors, all around actors of all time. And I didn't put one on there.
Picking
was close.
5 is tough.
I was real close on Patch Adams. I was real close on Jumanji and Jack and some of these other ones. And I just couldn't do it. So
Those are all solid, though.
oh, I love Robin Williams.
I did the same thing you did, 1 through 5. I'll start from 5 and work my way back. At number 5, I had Couples Retreat. That's a pretty solid one that my wife and I like to watch, and it's pretty quotable. Um, it's definitely one of those classic rom-com kind of buddy movies. I can't even think of what the main guy's name is off my top of my head here.
You're talking
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah,
guy
I left him off.
Yeah,
My
I was
list,
just
too.
thinking about that.
Wedding Crashers would be
that's up
one of
there,
his.
too.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers was on my short list, as was
Dodgeball?
Dodgeball,
Dodgeball.
and Old School.
Yeah,
We're all three
he's good. I like
right
him.
there.
Those are all
I
solid.
missed out on that.
Number 4, I did have a Will Ferrell movie. The Other Guys.
That was on my short list.
Little don't go chasing waterfalls.
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah, that's still
That is a great movie. That was such the amount of like the amount of big actors that were in that movie was odd. There was everything in that movie. I did love that movie.
number 3. I got Ted 2.
Another good one.
That's one where I think the sequel's better than the original. Number 2, I got Princess Bride. A little bit out there. I didn't think either of you would have that one, but it's a solid comedy.
Yeah.
And then The Big Lebowski is
It's a good
number
one,
1.
too.
I kind of assumed that. I knew Big Lebowski was gonna be on your list somewhere. It's on my lists, in one of my lists, but I thought that was gonna be on a list somewhere. I knew for a fact that was on some list for you, and I'd imagine it's probably in your overall. But
It is in my overall.
Do you have a lot of crossover on some of your stuff?
Some of them I do. Yeah.
Okay, so I won't give away one of the next things. I think I have an idea if it's in another piece of this.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I have crossover on mine too. So I
have a couple.
on a bunch. I don't have a ton. Mostly on like just going into the overall and a little bit of the series, trilogies,
Yep.
sequels, stuff like that. So
I tried hard not to, but you kind of have to with the
oh,
series
yeah,
stuff.
it's hard.
Yeah. And honestly, Jeff Bridges is my favorite actor.
He's a good actor.
So, I mean, politics aside, he's my favorite actor.
He's a little wild on his politics, but oh yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah. I mean, The Fisher King is another solid one by him. And then Hell or High Water, that's another solid one by him. There's just Tron, that was another good one.
Yeah.
Back in the old one and the new one. I actually like the remake.
He was in the old. I've never seen the original Tron. I guess.
Yeah.
He was in the original. And then they basically pick up where that one left off just years later with his son.
Yeah, I've only seen one Tron. Makes sense. I got you. Anything else? Moving on to drama. I'll do my top 5 on the drama again, 5 through 1. Number 5. I feel like this one could also be a cult classic / deep cut because I don't think a lot of people have maybe even seen it. But I went with Lucky Number 11.
It's a good one.
That's a great. I do love that movie. Number 4, I went with American Gangster.
It's another good one.
Just a great Denzel movie.
I just realized I don't have Denzel on my list anywhere.
Really?
Just
I have
realized
him
that,
on
and I'm a big Denzel fan.
Couple of them. I kind of actually thought you definitely have him on one in action for sure.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it was kind of hard. I did these today. I kind of had an idea where I was going, but I did my deep dive in today really, and I did a lot of like, as I'm going through, like I went through and I just wrote a bunch in each category so I could kind of think about what was in these categories, stuff like that. And I'm looking. Then I was starting to go through lists. And I was like, what about, Jesus, I forgot that movie. And I'm seeing these actors and now I'm going to the actor, going through all the movies there. And they're like, oh my God, how do I got to write all these movies down to go through all these movies to decide where I'm at.
If I would have done something like that, it would have taken me way too long to do this list.
It took me a while. It took me a long time and then, I could have kept going. But eventually I got to a point where I was like, all right, I got like 30 in each category. That's enough to pick 5 from because these 30 are probably my 30 favorite. Like
I kind of went with what came to my head first, and then I went and did some research, and then I kind of just met in the middle.
yeah, I get that. So number 4 was American Gangster, and then this list I have 6 again. This 6 was this one number 3 was a tie for me between The Green Mile and Apollo 13, and mostly because I didn't want to put a whole bunch of Tom Hanks in my category.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of going through. Tom Hanks was actually on a lot of my action and drama movies.
Right.
But those are 2 of my favorite, like Apollo 13. The Green Mile. I think The Green Mile is such a favorite movie for me, mostly because I read the book before I ever saw the movie. And the movie is, I don't know if there's a better movie from book version. And almost all of Tom Hanks movies that were or books that were turned into movies, or vice, you know what I'm saying? Like that he acts in movies that were out of books are extremely close to the actual book. Like all the Dan Brown series, the Angels and Demons, and all that type of stuff. They were, I mean, I read all those books, and the movies were almost what I had in my mind. Same thing. This Green Mile was freaky watching the movie, because it was almost like that's what I thought about as I was reading the book.
Right.
I read the book as a young kid. That was kind of one of my first books I read that wasn't a school book or like school reading type stuff. I read a bunch of Stephen King when I was younger.
Gross.
Yeah, wild stuff. And I hate horror movies, which is even more wild. Like I hate horror movies.
I
And
left
Stephen
all
King.
of his movies off for
Did you?
political reasons.
Well, I get that, but The Green Mile is such a great movie.
It's
And then number 2 was V for Vendetta.
it's another good one.
That's a movie I could
really
just
good.
literally watch every single day and never get bored of it. And then number 1 is Shawshank Redemption. That was the first one I wrote down on any list as number 1 in this category before I did any writing of anything else.
It was
Like,
on my
Shawshank
list,
It
but,
is.
was the one that was the first thing I wrote down. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
but I took it off.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm racist. I don't know.
You racist because you
Oh,
took
I didn't
Shawshank?
have Denzel on there. Any movie
No
that had a
Morgan
black
Freeman?
person in. Didn't even realize that till just now when we were talking about Denzel. I'm pretty sure it's that way through all my movies. Actually,
You just
if
like
I'm being
white
honest
people. You
with
just like white people. You just like a little Caucasian. in you.
Evidently. Good list though. I like that.
yeah, that's solid. all
I
the
didn't
way
have
around.
any of them, so I don't think there's any.
No crossover
No
on that one for
crossover.
you.
There might be a little over.
I didn't think anybody would have that lucky number 11, especially in the drama category.
It was on my short list.
Was it? That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Well, my number 5 for drama was The Departed.
That was on mine. I took it off, but it was there.
It's one that when it's on, I have to watch it.
It's a good movie. A lot of actors in it. It's a pretty star-studded cast.
Yeah.
and that was actually one of the first movies that introduced Dropkick Murphys to me as well.
Oh, really?
And one of the first. I think they were in a different one as well before that, but really liked that band and really liked it after watching that movie too.
You saying that band, I left off a really good movie that I might have to change
It's
my
all
list.
right. I
before
have
we
it
get
for
down
you.
there.
I have it for
Okay,
you.
all right.
I think. We'll
Okay,
see.
all right.
No, my number 4 is Hell or High Water. I mentioned that earlier with Jeff
Who's in that
Bridges.
one? Oh, Jeff Bridges. Is
Yep,
Yeah.
Chris Pine. I don't remember.
that a Western?
Yeah, it's kind of a western.
It's a newer one.
It's a crime drama western.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's a great movie. That is actually. When you said that, when you were talking in the comedy one, I was like, I completely forgot about that movie.
I actually have notes on it right here.
It's also got the guy from No Country for Old Men in it. That guy's in that movie too,
Bourdain?
isn't it? Bourdain? Isn't Bourdain in that one? Pretty sure Bourdain's in that one.
Javier Bardem?
I don't think he's in that one, is he?
I don't know.
I could have
I'd
swore
have
he
to
was in
look
that
it up.
movie.
Hell or High Water?
Yeah.
What I have, I got Toby Howard, which is played by Chris Pine, and then Tanner Howard,
Oh, it's
which
got
is
Ben Foster in
Ben
it too,
Foster. And they're the brothers. Their mom dies, and the bank's trying to like swindle them out of everything because they found oil on their land, and the bank's trying to take the land from them to get the oil. So they come up with a plan to rob
Guess
all
he's
the
not in there.
all the banks in this local Texas bank, and then they pay off their goal is to pay the bank off with their own money.
Yeah. That's the one that they go to the little cafe and he's like, I'll have what's your special? And she goes, steak, medium rare or something like that, and a potato. I guess I'll have a potato.
Yeah, what don't you
Yeah,
want?
she's like, what don't you want? Because you either don't want the corn or you don't want the peas. So what don't you want?
I didn't know that was a Taylor Sheridan written movie.
Yeah. It's a great. It is a very good movie.
I'll have to give it a shot.
And then my number 3, I had Shawshank Redemption. That was actually one of the first ones on my list as well. My dad loves that movie, and it's one I've watched growing up all the time. It's just such a good movie. My number 2, I have Big Fish. That one is a little less known.
I know it, but I've maybe only seen it like one time.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once or twice.
That one has Ewan McGregor, and he's kind of a storyteller. It's a dad telling a story to his kid. And,
Tim Burton, huh?
Yeah, and he thinks that his dad was full of shit, just telling all these ridiculous stories. And then
Yeah.
at the funeral, he starts to see all these people
Actually
and-
there.
Yeah, and it's kind of wild. It leaves it up to this whole thing of, yeah, the dad kind of elaborated and had a little bit of an imagination, but all those people were real people, and they were all at his funeral. And
Yeah.
he had such a big impact. It was pretty cool.
Of course, his wife was in there. I don't think she's not in any of his movies.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I've ever seen it.
I definitely have seen it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a little different.
Interesting.
And then my number 1 was The Godfather Part 2.
I left all the. I don't have any God. I never got into the Godfathers. I heard you like when we were talking about this in the office, and you and Mason's like Godfather Part 2, like right away. And it's like I just never got into any of the Godfathers. They're not. I never got into the Godfathers, Scarfaces, any of that type of stuff.
You don't like Italians or Cubans?
I must not. I must be racist against them. That's what I'm racist against.
I mean, I love mob movies, so I'm
Yeah.
a little biased on that
Yeah,
front.
too.
But I mean,
It'll be on my list too.
Godfather Part 2, that's, again, another one where the sequel's better.
Oh, 100%. 100%. A good list. I like how unique some of these have been. We haven't really had a whole lot. We're going to obviously have some
Yeah.
crossover, but yeah, that's good. Mine, I kind of went with drama thriller.
Yeah.
It'll make sense when I go through here. So, in no particular order, but Scarface was on there. It's funny you just mentioned that. I've always been an Al Pacino fan, especially his older stuff.
Oh yeah, I do love Al Pacino movies,
Yeah.
and I just thought of another movie that I love of his. But yeah,
Which one?
What wasn't in my list? The one with Keanu Reeves, the devil, the
Oh,
lawyer one,
yeah.
the devil one with the what's that movie called? Oh, now it's gonna piss me off. Where he's the devil,
Isn't it just the Devil's Advocate?
or yeah, Devil's Advocate.
Advocate,
That's the one.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Which
a
is
good one.
also a book, right? I'm pretty
I
sure
believe
that's
so.
a John
That just
Grisham book
reminded
or
me of
something.
Another one. Hold on.
Huh?
That one reminded me of another one.
Yeah.
Another one for drama.
No, for a different.
Oh, okay. So Scarface, great movie. I could watch that over and over again. No Country for Old Men, one of my
Just-
favorite movies.
Crazy thing that I just talked about that one too. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Javier Bardem, I think, in that movie is probably one of the best acting done. Best acting done I've probably ever seen.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
I do love the quarter scene. It's such a creepy, wild scene.
So that's another good movie. And I kind of like what's his face in there. Played Thanos. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh,
Josh Brolin.
Josh
yeah,
Brolin.
Josh
I like
Brolin.
Josh Brolin a lot. Number 3 was Inception. I counted
It
that
was-
in the action or the drama thriller, not
yeah.
action.
That one was definitely in a lot of things. I was trying to decide if I was going to put that in or not.
And I put Inglorious Bastards in this one because of the monologues. I didn't think it was more of an action movie. It was more of a drama thriller
I
type.
would say that.
Yeah, I could see that. Inglorious Bastards is, I don't even remember what genre I was thinking about it in, but I definitely had it in somewhere, and I don't remember which one. Oh, I had it in action.
Did
but
you?
Yeah,
I
it
kinda
was on
didn't
my
know.
list.
Yeah, I didn't know where to put it, so I kind of just
A
threw
lot
it.
of and I was kind of going through like IMDb and noticing that a lot of like, even when they categorize them, they have, you can be drama, action, comedy. They kind of put them in everything. So, and that's kind of the nice thing about what we're doing here is we're leaving it up to how you interpret each genre into thinking about it.
I just went because of so many monologues that it has.
Yeah,
and
it's a great movie. I literally just watched that like a week ago
I love that movie.
or something. It wasn't that long ago. I remember watching the whole thing.
But I'm also a big Quentin Tarantino fan, so you'll kind of see that come through
Gotcha.
here in a little bit too. And then The Godfather Part 2.
You guys have the same number one in the same category. That's wild.
It's hard not to. I mean, it's weird when you even look at like the popular list. Godfather's always, in the top. on all of them, but I still think part 2 is better. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
I would agree.
IMDb says that Shawshank's the number 1 of all time, so
See,
which
that's-
is not my favorite of all. I don't think. Maybe we'll see.
And it still
I don't
has The
remember.
Godfather's number 2,
Yeah, it's
which
Godfather.
I still
number 2,
think that part 2 is better than
which
the
they
first.
have at 4,
Yeah.
which is wild.
and then Godfather Part 3 it just falls off.
It's horrible.
We can all agree on that one.
Yeah.
I did hear. I was listening to a podcast this last week, and they were doing like your favorite Christmas movie, and somebody said had one of the Godfathers where they're so apparently like after a killing. I don't know which. I've only seen like 1 or maybe 2 of the Godfathers, and I don't really remember them. But after a killing scene or something, somebody's Christmas shopping, so that's how he justified it as a Christmas movie. And he basically does it because he was saying it as in this Die Hard Christmas movie shit is dumb. Like it just the joke's overplayed, and we're tired of hearing that Die Hard's a Christmas movie when it's not. But I did laugh pretty hard when
That
I
is
was
funny.
like. That's wild. Dude. We're gonna make this, and I get where he's just being a troll,
Right.
And I get it. So
You could
I'm here
almost
for it.
make quite a few movies, Christmas movies,
Yeah,
if you
because
really wanted to.
if we're gonna say if all we're
took
gonna do
place
is
during
it's
Christmas
around
time.
Christmas is a Christmas movie, come on, dude.
It was filmed in December, so
Yep.
It's a Christmas movie. Okay, sure.
what's your? Okay,
You-
I'm good there.
You're good.
You're good. All right.
You're on sports.
Action.
Or no, you're on action. Yeah. sorry.
Action. All right. Well, my number 5, I have Gladiator.
Good
It was
one.
on my short list,
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
It's hard
Get it
not to
on.
have that one. That could have been in drama as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's a
definitely
lot
on
of
there.
action in that, but I think the better part. Oh my god, I just forgot another one of my favorite movies of all time. But anyway, that like you said about the monologues, I never really thought about saying that's why it's a drama, and that's I mean the drama in Gladiator is kind of crazy that makes it difficult. Now
Yeah.
this is frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
You knew you were gonna forget stuff. I forgot
Oh.
stuff. It's gonna happen.
I forget I just forgot like one of my favorite movies of all time that I quote all the time. Like it's a whatever. We'll talk about it later.
Number 4, I got Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It was on my list.
I don't know. I've always liked Indy. It's
Yeah.
It was nowhere on my list whatsoever. Not an Indian.
No, you didn't like any of the
You don't like
Indiana
Indies?
Jones? Even as a kid? Like you never really got into them?
Nope.
That's wild. No, as a kid, they were like my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the main, was it Indiana Raiders, Temple of Doom, The Lost Ark?
and then what is 3?
There was 3 of them, right? And
Well,
3 of the
there's
originals?
3 of the originals,
And then
yeah.
2
And then
more?
there's 2. There's the one that was in like the early 2000s with Shia LaBeouf, and then there was the new one that just came out. I think.
Last Crusade.
That's the newest one. Was a Dial
Temple
of
of
Destiny.
Doom.
Last Crusade, Temple of Doom,
Crystal Skull,
Crystal Skull, in 08.
Great Circle.
So there must have only been 2 originals. Oh, Raiders of the Last Ark.
Yep.
So Raiders of the Last Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade were
Yep.
the 3 originals.
My number 3, Terminator 2.
Wasn't a huge fan of those either. I'm weird.
I was never into Terminator.
Loved it. I love in Terminator 2, especially when the guy comes back and he's like melts through the body. Like that shit scarred me as a little kid, and I loved it though.
That's probably why I never watched it.
What was the newest one, or one of the newer ones?
Oh, there's a bunch.
There's a newer one with the chick that
It was the only one I got into was he had the actor from the Gladiator TV show on Cinemax or whatever it was on. Must be not. It would have been in the like Salvation. Yeah, Sam Worthington. Click on his name. That one is the only one I really got into.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy. That guy's on the. I can't think of the name of that TV show.
he is.
He's
He was in Avatar.
not that guy. Man, I'm thinking of something else. Then I don't know. Maybe that's the one. I can't remember. There was one that I was into, and maybe that's what it was. And I just assumed he was a different guy because I thought the guy died of cancer.
The actor?
The actor, yeah.
Hmm.
What the hell? I'm trying to think what that Gladiator show was, but anyway. Oh well.
And then my number 2, I had John Wick. And my number 1, I have Rambo First Blood.
Wasn't a big Rambo guy either. I'm weird.
Rambo, all of them. I would watch all of them.
You had the original John Wick
Yep.
as your number 2,
Yep.
and then Rambo. Yeah, Rambo. I forgot Rambo on my trilogies. Honestly, completely forgot about that. But yeah, I kind of like the Rambo, but I wasn't huge on it.
Yeah. I'm Stallone fan. I've always liked his movies, so that'll come up here in a little bit.
It's a good list. You want me to go?
You're on sports, right?
Action.
Oh yeah,
Action.
I haven't done my action yet either, have I?
Nope.
I got distracted. I'm trying to figure out this TV show. It's pissing me off. I can't think of it. Like it's on the top of my head.
Again, not in any order. And this first one could have been in the drama section too, but I have Sin City.
Oh,
Good one.
never thought about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Kingsman.
Yep.
Another one that I wouldn't have thought about, but I do like that movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie a lot. Mad Max Fury Road.
That's a good one.
And I got John Wick. I just think you can't do action without a John Wick movie, but
I didn't put him on my action, but it's on a different. That was the John Wick was the second thing I wrote down somewhere, and it was in a different category.
I have an idea probably where you put it. And then The Dark Knight. I had to put The Dark Knight in there.
And Dark Knight was like the third thing I wrote down in a different category.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah.
So there's my top 5. Sin City to me, I think is a underrated movie.
What's your favorite one of the 5?
The first one, the Sin City, or
of
those 5.
What would you say is probably your
Probably
number
The
one?
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
hard not
probably
to go with that one.
Sin City, and then Mad Max Fury Road, Kingsman, and then John Wick. That's probably
Gotcha.
how I would rank those.
Kingsman is solid. I like both of them.
And you can insert either one in that.
Yeah,
It
they're
didn't
kinda
matter to me. The first one
interchangeable.
obviously was cool, but the second one was great too.
Yep.
I just love the concept. Like when I don't know. Same thing with Sin City. It was black and white,
Mm-hmm.
and I
With
just
the blood
Mhm.
in red.
yeah. I just thought the adaptation of the graphic novel was
Spot
done
on.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that one. Yeah, Dark. Yeah, I like your list. Spartacus is the TV show I was thinking of.
Oh,
Great TV show, and the guy looks kind of like Sam Worthington.
gotcha.
But
I would
it's
have
not
never.
him.
I would have never got you there.
No, I was like,
I would have never been able
I
to
had
help
to,
with
I had
that
to
one.
literally Google TV show about gladiators. And it gave me like 8 things. I was like, oh yes, Spartacus. I do remember that now.
That's funny.
All right, so my action. So my first 3 are 6, not 5. I see I have another tie here.
Oh, okay.
So number 5 or 6, I went with Jurassic Park. The original Jurassic Park, just to me, it's such a great movie. That was kind of early on in the type of CGI graphics and stuff, wasn't it? So
Some CGI. A lot of that was still animatronic.
that was animatronics,
Mhm.
which I don't know, it's such a great movie. I mean, that's one big pile of.
That's when movies were actually productions.
Yep.
We're talking like the Indiana Jones, the Jurassic Parks, the Star Wars, things like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Production value.
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
And I remember that as a kid, it just so awesome, such an awesome, and the end scene, I don't know, such a great movie.
It's a good one.
So I had to get that on there. Number 4, I went with The Rock, with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Great
That-
movie.
I haven't seen that one in a very long time.
That was one
to
of
watch
the
that one.
ones that I didn't have. That was a long time of like doing some research and going through stuff. I was like, oh my God, how did I forget about this movie? And that made it onto my short list and then ended up making it on my top 5. Number 3, I went with Tombstone.
Good
One of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. And
Another good cast.
that's one that could kind of be anywhere. If you want to, that could definitely be a drama, but I think it's tough to call that drama or action, but I went with it in action. And then my Tombstone was number 3, and then number 2 was where I had a tie, and that was Saving Private Ryan and 300, and I couldn't pick one or the other on that one. Like I just couldn't pick them.
300 was on my short list.
Yeah,
That was on my list as well.
300 is a movie that I've watched. I may have watched that movie almost more than any other movie on any of these lists. Such a great movie when it came out.
That would have been tied for my 5th. I literally had 300, scribbled it out, and put Gladiator.
Oh,
But I didn't know we were doing ties, so
I did ties. So that's a good thing about no rules. It was just a text with categories. Is all I wrote down. So
Yep.
and said top 5. And then number 1 on action was Dark Knight, and that was like the 3rd or 4th thing I ever wrote down. It's on
just
any of
such a
these
good
lists.
movie.
It's one of the. If you're talking in just overall movie quality, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Like you had a great Heath Ledger. Yeah, it's just such a good movie. I just love that movie.
Yeah, I would agree. You did yours, right?
yep.
I want to do one honorable mention for me that I kind of forgot about, but you talking about Sean Connery, The Untouchables, is one of my favorite.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
The one that on that action list that I completely forgot about when you talk about, and that probably could have gone into drama. I don't remember what movie you said, but there was a movie that brought it to my head, and it was The Kingdom of Heaven. One of my favorite movies of all time, and I didn't even have it on a short list, so completely forgot about it.
But I could go for days on some of this stuff. This was tough.
It was,
in the action.
it was ridiculously hard. So anybody want to judge us? I mean, feel free to do
No,
it
yeah,
yourself.
we're gonna get. I mean, if anybody watches or listens to this, we're gonna get some hateful comments. Cause
I'm
what do
fine
you
with
mean
it.
you left this off? What do you mean you did this? Why is this in your freaking top 5? But okay, you started action, right, Ryan?
So you get sports.
You get sports.
Okay, again, this I kind of went with rewatchability. I don't watch a whole lot of sports movies, especially anymore. But I'll throw it out there.
I will say, I thought that I didn't have a bunch of sports movies to go through, and then I started writing down sports movies and realized I have a shit ton of sports movies.
I kind of just went top of mind, so I didn't even go any further.
That's fine.
Okay. The Wrestler.
I like that one.
I like that movie a lot. And then one of my top movies that I've just always enjoyed. I think it's because Mom watched it like crazy. But Jerry Maguire.
It's a great movie.
I think it's an awesome movie.
I think I wrote that down on my short list.
Did you?
Yep.
Great movie. Show me the money. Major League. It's always it's a classic for me. I just have always loved that. Dad and Mom always watched it. It's one of those like I can still watch to this day.
We're gonna we'll save that till later, but we may get into a little fight on something, but we'll
Really?
see.
Why?
Yeah. Well, we'll wait until a different category. It's not a sport. It won't be in the sports category, but it'll be close.
And then Shaolin Soccer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Shaolin Soccer.
I have not.
I have not.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so same people that made Kung Fu Hustle made Shaolin Soccer.
So it's like a sports comedy.
It's
like
kind of a sports comedy.
Spoofy. Because wasn't that Kung Fu Hustle's kind of spoofy? Or
Yeah,
not?
it was more like they had like special powers and they were protecting, but this is more like they have like special powers playing soccer.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same concept, but it's a really good movie. So if you haven't seen it,
I have not
go
seen
give
it.
it
I
a
might have
try.
to watch it.
It's great.
Write it down.
Yeah. And then Remember the Titans. Like
That was definitely on my list.
That was on my list.
What's your top one? Do you have one?
Yeah, those would probably be in order. So The Wrestler at number 5, Jerry Maguire, Major League, Shaolin Soccer, Remember the Titans.
Oh, I like that.
I think that one was the one category I actually put them in order.
Ranked it basically.
Yeah. Now there was a lot that I could have put on there. Moneyball could have been on there. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Friday Night Lights, Hoosiers.
Yeah, my sports page got way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. I was like, I forgot about this movie. I forgot about this movie. I forgot about this movie.
I just went with my gut.
And then once I started getting into actors, like, oh my God, I forgot about this one, this one, this one. So you have Denzel
Yeah,
as a
I
number
did.
one movie.
I do.
So you're not
I actually
racist.
have a movie about racism as my number one movie.
Yeah, so you're not racist.
No. See? Hey, I saved
You
myself.
recovered.
I recovered very well. Look at that.
If you drop the ball, if you drop a pass, you will run a mile. If you fumble the ball, I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. It's one of my favorite quotes to say. I love that line. Perfection, gentlemen. I have no problems with that list. This one was the sports one was number one was easy for me. I wrote that one quick, and then the rest of them were really difficult for me. I went number 5. I went with Trouble with the Curve. Great movie. Great Clint Eastwood movie. I think that was one of the ones when he got into his directing and acting stuff. And I would have had more. Like,
Is that the one where he plays like a
scout?
A scout, yeah.
Yeah, he's a scout. JT's in that one.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake's in that movie. And his daughter, Kate Mara, maybe? Or I can't remember who his daughter.
I think you're right.
I think it's Kate Mara. She plays his daughter, and she becomes a scout. It's a great movie. I love that movie. I watch it a lot.
Isn't it the one where the guy from that played Scooby Doo?
Yeah, he's in
He's
it too.
like
He's the bad.
He's the other. He's
bad,
basically
like,
the bad
front
guy.
office guy.
Yeah.
that wants this certain player, and
He
Clint's
does
like,
all.
no.
He does all of his scouting based on like computers and stuff, and
Gotcha.
Clint Eastwood's still doing it off of watching, and it turns out he's like blind, and he's hearing it, and he can hear that
Gotcha.
this guy's not a good player.
Amy
Okay.
Adams was.
Amy
Adams,
Adams.
that's
Basically
who-
the same
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
I mean,
similar.
there's like 3 of them that are all interchangeable there, and I go, I don't fucking know which one it is.
Who are you? Which one are you?
There's 3 clones. Which one?
Yeah, that definitely makes. Yep, it is definitely her now that you say
Sorry, I
that.
kind of cut you off there, but I want to make sure I was thinking of the right movie.
No, that's fine. And then number 4, I went with Remember the Titans. Again, great movie. Don't have to really talk about it that much. Number 3, I went with Moneyball, which
Another good one.
if we're gonna be all honest here, for a guy that doesn't really like baseball, and I got 2 baseball movies in my top 5.
Just gonna say that
I don't watch baseball. Don't love baseball.
he doesn't even want to cover baseball on Useless like ever.
Don't really care.
He's like, do we really have to talk about this? Is
Yeah.
it really that important? I'm like,
Baseball-
well,
Baseball is, I don't know. You need to open your eyes, man.
Maybe I don't like baseball, but I'll tell you what, they know how to make some good ass baseball movies.
we didn't even talk about the biggest contract ever last week because I knew he wouldn't want to talk about it.
I would have talked about it,
Yeah.
but I like talking about Bobby Vanilla Day. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite days of all time.
That's funny.
Yeah, number 3 was Moneyball. Again, great movie, great actors, just awesome. Got a little tearjerker and everything in it, so it's a great movie. Number 2, I went with Varsity Blues. Just such a
classic.
great classic
Give it a 10.
comedy. 10,
Fucking
10,
10.
motherfucking 10.
That also could have been on one of the later categories.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It is definitely, your cult classic style. Yeah, I definitely kind of thought about putting it there too, but I had other stuff that I wanted on there.
Same thing with the Big Lebowski is what I was saying earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my number 1 on this one was Tin Cup.
It's a good one.
I loved Tin Cup. That is like the only movie probably on any of these lists that I don't have to watch it like without commercials. Like if it's on TV, I'm gonna sit down and my day is now ruined because now I'm gonna sit through this 4-hour version of this movie because I'm watching all the commercials.
Completely forgot about that one.
Yep.
And
That's
'cause
Kevin
I
Costner,
see
right?
that on it's Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner is probably one of the best sports guys, actually, because like Draft Day,
Draft Day was on my list.
Bull Durham.
Forgot
Bull
about
Durham
Draft
is.
Day.
I don't love Bull Durham. A lot of people love Bull Durham. I just didn't really love it.
Field of Dreams, another one.
That kind of goes back into the baseball that I don't like.
Yep.
I like the other parts of baseball.
Yeah.
The movies that aren't really about baseball, I like those movies about baseball.
You know what I forgot that I will maybe want to
You
put on
like
my
the
list
business side of baseball.
Yes.
is Angels in the Outfield.
That's
I
another
literally
solid
was just about to say that. That's the other one that I love. That's a little kid's movie. Yes. Danny Glover in it. Just
Matthew
such a-
McConaughey's in that movie.
Oh, he is. I completely forgot he's in that movie. Danny Glover getting covered in fucking mustard and cheese.
Talk about a guy that was in every movie in the 90s.
Oh, such a great actor. Such a great
he was
actor.
he was even in the original Saw movie.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Forgot about that.
He was.
And Yeah, just a great movie. And Tin Cup is on TV all the time, and it just ruins my day. Ruins
a good one.
Whatever I'm doing, just because I'm like, I guess this is what I'm watching now.
I like that. I like that list. That's a good list.
Well, since we're doing ties, I'm going to throw this one in.
I didn't have a
'Cause I-
tie in
So you-
that
so
one.
you
That's
got
the
10
first.
So you got 10 movies instead of
10.
Yeah, I got 10 movies.
I got 2 for each
Two
number
for each.
5.
So it turns out 3 movies tied here. So I got 30 movies we're gonna go through on the sports category.
I could have. I had that many in this one.
I actually have one that was going to be 5, and I scribbled it out, and I wrote a different one. So at number 5, I got Caddyshack and Iron Claw. Damn it. Now,
Which one did you take off?
Iron Claw. Now,
Caddyshack's a good one.
again, I went off of rewatchability.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Claw, I'll probably never watch again.
I don't think I've
that's
ever
for
seen it.
Other
Is that a
reasons.
wrestling one, right?
Yep.
Is it wrestling?
It's about,
it's
it's
the
about
new
a pro
one,
wrestling family.
right? With
It's got the dude from The Bear,
yeah, and then Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. Yep.
And
And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a couple other people.
I need to watch that one.
I've not seen it.
It's one that it's very dark. The family story is very dark. I knew that going in, but it's one that watching it, you feel every bit of it, right?
That's
And
one that's kind of like it could be like big drama.
big,
like you could
big
get on the drama.
You're gonna
thriller.
cry. You're gonna cry.
I like movies. I love movies like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
tug at
It
your
makes
heartstrings.
you feel.
That's why like Moneyball kind of tugs at my heartstrings
I
a
mean-
little bit. That's why I love that movie.
Their story is so sad that they had to cut out an entire brother from the storyline because it's too much death. There's 6 boys, 5 of them died.
They must not have seen John Wick.
It's a little different when they're shooting themselves. Yeah.
Sorry,
that
that was pretty morbid of me.
I get it. Number 4, I have Sandlot.
It was on
Classic.
my short list.
Yep.
I was real. I could. That one was really close. So that's another baseball one, but that's more of that's a kid thing, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a Wendy Peppercorn thing. She was my crush as a child. Definitely a crush as a child.
You try to fake drown in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of would have.
And then you get Agatha to come help you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as lucky as Squints.
Agatha, the lunch lady, coming to help you out.
Number 3, I have Varsity Blues, which I could have put it higher on the list, but he just ended up at number 3.
Yeah.
Number 2, I had Tin Cup, which again, that's a movie. It'll ruin your day. I did that actually, where I watched half the movie through the commercials, and I went, "What the hell am I doing? I got this."
Oh, I literally have it.
freaking-
I've owned that movie. I have it on DVD. I have it on digital copy.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I was like, I'm gonna just skip, go over to the digital, and I'm gonna watch it. But I was like
never
an
do it.
hour and a half into it
Vance has
before
got it etched in his brain. Doesn't even need a copy of it anymore.
probably not.
and then my number 1,
That's got Cheech Marin in that movie. It's such a great movie. It's such a good movie.
number 1, I got the Rocky movies. So
You went
all of
with
them.
all of them,
All of them.
as one. You couldn't-
actually number 1, but
number one's your favorite.
number 1 and number
Otherwise, this whole list would have been Rocky.
yep, number 1, number 1, number 2, and number 3.
So you do have 10 movies.
Yep.
Surprised you didn't have. You could have had all 5. You could have had all the Rocky movies. You could have had the
Number
the
5
new
is not
ones.
good. I skipped number 5 when he doesn't even box. It's when he's coaching. I skipped that one.
Yeah.
Is 5 the one with his kid where he talks to his kid?
No, number 5 is
So like 6 is the newest one where he's talking. He's like, I used to hold you in my hand, and you're bigger than that kid, and
I think his kid
Is
was
that
in
4?
one.
where he's on the
4
street. It's just it's kind of a big monologue. You see it on
when
a lot of
when
TikToks.
he's talking about that's when they remade it in the early 2000s. That was just Rocky.
Yeah.
That's
So
actually
that's like
Rocky,
the 6th one.
Rocky
basically?
6.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And if you go off of Rocky actually boxing, that's Rocky 5.
Okay.
But
What are the new ones called? I forget.
Creed.
Creed. That's what it is.
and
Which
they're-
Creed was
they're-
real close to being on these lists.
They're solid movies for being a modern take on it.
I haven't seen them.
It's,
I wasn't a big Rocky guy either.
yeah.
I wasn't, but I think Creed. The reason I loved Creed I wasn't big on Rocky, but the reason I love Creed is because it came out after Southpaw. I was a huge Southpaw was real close to being on this list. That's a
the one
boxing
with
movie. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, okay.
I did see a reel today about the Rocky movies on Facebook when I was going to the bathroom at work today, and ironically, I didn't catch this every time I've watched this movie, but he's talking to one of the thug buddies that he's running money for, and he's like talking about Adrian. I heard she's retarded, and he's like, "Don't you say that?" Getting all riled up, and he's like, "I'll tell you what, retarded people love the zoo. You should take her to the zoo." And then like 2 scenes later, he's taking her to the zoo.
That's funny.
I like that list. Other than Rocky, I'm not big on Rocky, so
Yeah.
I mean,
you could put it at 5, and I'd be okay with it. I definitely don't like it above Tin Cup and Varsity Blues, but you do you.
yeah, I got a kid named Rocky, so it's a
I
little
know.
biased here.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Or he's Rocky because you like Rocky.
Yeah, I don't know how he snuck that one in by the old lady, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Got it under the nose. Good to go.
I guess it's my turn then, huh? We're gonna move into trilogies/series.
Yeah, I kind of did this as more of a series for me, is what I did. Like a overarching, because like some of these that I have on here could have like 30 movies in it.
That's kind of where I was at
Okay,
too, because I was real close to. So my honorable mention on this list is the MCU. Like, that's kind of my. I was real close to putting all the Marvel Cinematic Universe ones in there
I
because
almost did that too.
I couldn't figure it out, and I just decided to leave it off my top 5. But it's very close to being in my top 5. It could almost be a. This one I have
The
6, so it
level
could be
of
my 7th
storytelling.
one.
The level of storytelling for the MCU is insane.
It's crazy, and
In the
off of
beginning.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
And then
just
Endgame. And then after that, it's kind of.
Yeah, since then, but the original,
Yes.
like the whole main Avenger storyline,
Correct.
we all can agree.
before getting some woke shit thrown in there.
Yeah.
But there's also they threw in the multiverse thing, which ultimately goes back to the actual comics. So it takes it away from that cinematic universe and tries to make it more of an actual comic book base and go back to the nerds, I guess, is the best
Just
way to put that.
The production value of those movies is wild. I'll watch them all.
Yeah.
I have.
I
watched
still
them all.
do. I
I
love
watch all the TV shows.
I've started like
That
I
too.
went back and like because they have a list now that you could watch like
In order.
like
Chronological.
prequels and
Yeah.
like those are. It's fun to watch it in that direction.
Yep.
And then you're like, man, we're like the vision to build this entire thing out is wild to me.
Well, they already had a template.
Well, I mean, they have the comic books, but
Yeah.
but like to know that I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
we're gonna do this Iron Man. Then now we're gonna mix in this, and then we have a prequel to this over here that's 10 years after we've done this.
The best thought process they had was getting everybody under contract for so long
Yep.
Yeah,
and being able to think ahead that far, because otherwise it would have never worked.
no, it probably
Because some of those guys wanted to be done even before Infinity War.
Some of them didn't even make it out of Iron Man 1.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
They recast old Rhodey.
yep.
well, technically the Hulk was recast.
Yeah.
The
Multiple
Hulk
times.
was recast,
Yeah.
but the main Hulk was recast off of the original Hulk movie. Like this, so if you go back
It
in
starts with Edward Norton's Hulk.
like which is wild. I like him as he's way better than fucking woke ass whatever the fuck his
Mark
name
Ruffalo.
is. Mark Ruffalo. I loved the Edward Norton Hulk. I enjoyed. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But
What's
Anyway.
the other one? David Bana is
that's the original.
Incredible Hulk.
But that was before they had this MCU thing. Like
Yeah.
that's not tied into
Yeah.
the universe.
It will be now.
It is.
Yeah.
If they put it in there, it's
It's
been
all
bought,
gonna-
but
It's all
I think
gonna
they
be
still
part of
only
it.
put it with Edward Norton's.
It's-
As far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is in order,
They're making a
don't put
World
the-
War Hulk, and they're going to talk about tying it all in.
Are they?
Yep.
Interesting, because it's not on there now.
Yep.
As far as like them including it, but that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We haven't even got into your list yet.
that was a tangent on a honorable mention there, but okay. So this was a tie for number 5. I went with the Lethal Weapon series and Fast and Furious, and I kind of go a little bit. Some Fast and Furious would probably be closer to 6, and it's in there for me just because growing up, yeah, it's wild and maybe they've gone too far, but like those first many of them, I had to watch every single one as they came out. Like it was that big a deal to me. And it just kind of growing up through it was pretty awesome. And then Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover,
It's a great series.
just great series. And then I'm in the middle of rewatching for the probably 30th time the Lethal Weapon TV series from Fox. Like, I just watched it.
I
all the
love
time.
that.
I
I wish they would have never gotten rid
It's
of that.
so sad. Like, I mean, it tears at your. I love that show because of like, it's just such a great show.
I just thought how well the guy that played Mel Gibson's character did such a great job, but he ended up being the guy
Murtaugh?
that wasn't that. But he wasn't the guy that he didn't do a very good job.
What do you mean he didn't?
He was like he was the one that was causing issues on the set and things like that.
really?
The guy that played Mel Gibson's character.
That's why they killed him.
I think so.
Huh.
They wanted him off the show.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
It was such a great show.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when they bring Sean or what's the dude from Stifler? What's his name?
Oh, Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott. Yeah,
He did an alright job.
He does. I like him. I just got done with the killing of Murtaugh or Riggs and getting into the other
There you go,
part
Rick.
of
That's
it.
what I was looking for.
So I'm in that version of watches. I've been on watching it for the last few months, trying off and on.
And I've always liked Damon Wayans. So
Funny. So that's in there. Number 4, I went with Resident Evil series.
Ooh.
I love those movies. Absolutely.
I didn't see that coming.
Didn't see that one from you.
It was real close to be that one or Underworld.
I didn't even know that was going to be on your radar.
Huh.
I
Interesting.
love those series. Love the
You
Underworld
don't like horror
series.
movies.
I don't.
You like goth chicks?
Maybe.
Like, get up in that Tate Beckinsale. Underworld's really good.
Underworld's
It
a
is.
great movie too.
I kind of I didn't go. I should. That's a good one.
So that one could have almost been a tie too, but I didn't tie it there because then I would have had 10. But
You like skinny women with small chests.
maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Resident Evil follows the same thing.
Yep.
Anyway, and then number
Somebody can't think. No,
number 3 is I went with Jason Bourne series, all the Bournes.
that was on my list.
I can't believe you say
They can go
I
on the
love
bottom
it.
of my list till the day I die.
I just
Never
love
been a
them.
fan.
And I love going back and watching the originals and watching the technology
Yeah.
in the originals. It's wild to me. Like that was so like high tech when we were
Maybe
watching
the
that as
memes
kids.
ruined it for me. Oh my God, it's Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
And there's some fat guy doing a fucking kickstand.
Those are maybe that's why
That's
I love
why
it
I
so
love 'em.
much. Yeah. Oh my God, it's Jason.
There's
Bourne.
2 reactions. Either you love them or hate them after that.
I might have to go back and rewatch them just because you put it on your list.
I
but
just love all the Bournes. And then I went number 2 was Matrix. It just hard to
that
I had to
fell off
find-
my list.
really. I had to find a way to put it somewhere. And I couldn't find a standalone. I couldn't put it on my sequels or anything. So I wanted that as my series. And maybe it's not number 2. It just ended up
I
there.
had it on my action list
There's-
and then I took it off.
Yeah.
That's one that I never got into.
Yeah.
I can honestly
Really?
say
I
never got
loved
into
it.
I mean,
How
I-
old are you
I
again?
get it. I'm 34.
So you're not
And-
too much younger than
But
us.
I would have watched, like, I remember watching them and stuff, and it just was one that, like, I was probably a little too
Like
young
even the
for.
first one didn't really catch
Yeah.
your.
He would have been probably pretty young when that first one came out.
Yeah. I
Because I
remember
was
watching
youngish.
I guess when you
the first
put
one came
age
out.
at like it is now, it's a little different than when we were
Yeah, when
younger
you're
and these movies came out.
I mean, I watched Chucky when I was 3, so I watched any movie. It didn't matter. My parents didn't have any rules on that.
but maybe understanding it.
Understanding it was a little
Yeah.
little complex for
Yeah.
that young, I think.
Yeah, I do love them. I don't. As I'm looking at this list, I think that Matrix could drop down a little bit for me, but it's still a great series.
That's one I'm going to go, and I'm going to give it a rewatch now that I'm a little older.
You can replace it with Jason Bourne and then put something else in there.
You put Matrix where Jason Bourne is,
And
then
get
put
Jason Bourne out.
No, Jason Bourne is definitely staying. Jason Bourne's probably actually now 2 for me. You have talked me into putting the Bourne series
You might have
at
to
number
put it
2.
at number 1. Just put it at number 1.
Well, I can't because the second movie that I wrote down, or second thing that I wrote down, was the John Wick series. That was the second thing I wrote in any of my papers.
That's your number 1 series, huh?
Dude, it's a solid
I can't pick
watch.
which one I like better.
Yeah.
I can literally watch every single one and love every single one as much as the previous one or the one.
It just
after.
gets crazier.
It's,
I just see it all as one big long movie.
Yeah.
yeah, basically. It's just
I mean,
because it is.
Yeah.
Because it starts up. The
Yeah.
second movie starts up when the first movie ends, like immediately. It's just such a great.
That did not make
I
my
do love it.
series, but at least I put it up in the
Yeah,
action. Yeah.
that's fine. I couldn't pick one, so I mean that one I knew since I couldn't pick one of the movies that was gonna go.
All that killing over a
the
dog
trilogy.
is wild.
I mean, I get it.
Baba Yaga.
It's a principle. It's about his piece. That's what it was about.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'm gonna, since we're doing ties like old Vance is doing over here, I'm gonna add a couple.
Here we go. 10 more.
Yep. My number 5, I have the Jurassic Park / World series. I love those movies.
So all of them combined.
All of them
the
combined.
new with the old.
Yep.
Okay.
I was real close to putting the Jurassic Parks in.
I
But it
prefer
was-
the original 3 over the newer ones, but I do like kind of the direction they made it unique and a little bit more sci-fi of the genetics and
From the new ones.
Yep.
So you're a little bit different than me. I only like the original.
Yep.
I don't like any of the original sequels, and then I like all the new ones. Like I didn't like 2 and 3. I really don't like those movies at all.
I 2 gets shit on a lot, but I really like that one actually.
And then Lost World was the third one.
The third one, I thought that one was cool with the frickin' Spinosaurus thing
Yeah.
swimming. Like that shit was terrifying. But then tied with that at number 5, I have the Harry Potter series.
Never really got into it.
I feel like those.
I felt weird about leaving. I left Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. All they weren't even. I wrote them down just to say, "Hey, I wrote these down," but they were never in consideration for me. None of those 4.
See, Harry Potter for me was one just because I literally grew up.
That was your
with
age.
it.
That would have
That's
been
kinda
kind of
like-
gap.
Yeah.
thing.
So
Yeah.
like my brother read all the my brother's he's a little bit older than you, but basically the same age. He read all those books.
Yep.
Like I didn't ever read a single Harry Potter book. I
It's
didn't.
weird that a 5-year age gap can make that big of a difference.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Number 4, I put the Rush Hour series.
I was close.
three.
It was on my list.
I freaking love Jackie Chan.
Jackie
And
Chan
Chris
and Chris
Tucker.
Tucker together were
No,
hilarious.
Jackie
Do you
Chan-
understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Kata.
Such a great movie.
Yeah. Hilarious all the way around. The original 3 Star Wars, so 4 through 6.
I left them off my list.
I put them on because I can't not.
You said the originals.
The originals.
I'll give you
One
that.
from
I
the
would.
70s.
Yeah, those are the only ones I
I'll
would
give
have.
you that.
Episodes 1 through 3, as I get a little bit older, they kind of grow on me a little bit from the nostalgia part. 'Cause again, I was around when I was younger, so I kind of grew up with those. I always looked at the way that they, I don't know, did Darth Vader and Anakin and made it look like he was a whiny little bitch.
Because
That
he's a
bothered
one
me.
little bitch.
And then he turned into Darth Vader. And I don't care who you say, Darth Vader is one of the best villains of all time. But number 2, I have the Back to the Future series.
That was on my short list.
I love those movies. I will watch those. If they're on TV, I'll watch them through commercials. I love them so much. 1 and 2, 3 kind of falls off. But and then The Lord of the Rings is number 1 for me.
Number 1.
Yep. And I love all of them. The Hobbit movies, I'm not as big of a fan of.
I have not watched the
I
Hobbit
didn't
ones.
think the Hobbit book needed to be 3 movies. That was just a cash grab, and I didn't really like that. But,
Yeah.
All movies are kind of cash grabs.
they are, but
Right.
that was just trying to play on that whole the same thing.
Yeah.
Which, like, if they would have did a TV series out of the Hobbit, I would have been more for that.
Didn't they do? Did they not have a Lord of the Rings TV series, a short
They-
mini series?
They did do like a little animated series.
Oh, but not a live action.
And then they have the Rings of Power on Amazon now.
Mm.
And then there's a War of Rohan animated like anime that's in
Interesting.
theaters right now.
Hmm.
And since it's animated, they brought back some of the original actors to voice them. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's a good list. Both of those are pretty good lists. These will be in order, so 5 up. The Oceans series, Oceans 11, and through all those. I just love the ins and outs and the turns and the twists, and I don't know,
those were on my. I wrote the Ocean series. I couldn't decide to put it
Love
on
the
or
You're
not.
not
cast.
talking about the remake one with the all
The
women
girls?
cast.
That doesn't count. That's not
Okay.
included.
Was
The
it
originals.
Ocean's 8 is what they call that or something?
Some bullshit.
Yeah. Just George Clooney, Brad Pitt, just the
Solid.
whole cast is
And it kept getting more people into it. Like
Correct.
bigger. And they didn't bring bad names into it.
no.
No.
They brought a big. So
Correct.
we're going to go to the next movie and get an even bigger name.
And I've always loved heist movies.
They're fun.
where they go through and they give you the whole process, and that's probably why I loved it so much.
And like without
ties
telling
back.
you how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're kind of left a little bit of that thriller / shocker at the end.
Right.
Yep.
So I do enjoy that. Yeah.
I did go with Lord of the Rings at 4, but I'm going to give it like the first 3-4 movies, and then after that I kind of just fell off. But
Yep.
I'll give the first 3 for sure. I'll give the series, and that's why it made the list. Christopher Nolan's Batman movies is going to be there for me. I know the first one was a little.
I liked Batman Begins. I liked it.
It was good. It just definitely took a while to get to where it was going.
Yep.
But that's his
It's
storytelling.
almost like it didn't really fit.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like he changed direction a little bit.
Yeah.
In that
That's kinda what I
series,
thought.
I wasn't a fan of 3 out of that series. Actually,
It wasn't the,
Dark Knight
greatest,
Rises.
yeah.
but it was
I
good.
like it.
I like The Dark Knight, then 1. It goes 2, 1, 3 for me.
Yeah. I can say I've heard a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't like the Dark Knight Rises. I do like it. I
The
think
only
it's-
reason-
Rewatch the death scene of what's her name, the chick that dies in Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
yeah.
Just rewatch that scene and just go. Can't believe they let that go in the thing. That was pretty bad acting.
Yeah. It's.
I just think Bane was good.
Yeah. And I
Tom
love him a
Hardy's-
lot. Tom
yeah.
Hardy, I love a lot.
Yeah,
And him as Bane
Tom Hardy
good.
was on a lot of my list that didn't make it into. Like he
Yeah.
didn't make it in.
Yeah.
if we did TV shows, I would have had a show with him in it.
Yeah.
He would definitely be probably in at least in a short list of best actors.
Yep.
For me.
I do like Tom Hardy a lot.
If
Like
they wouldn't have-
Warrior was real hard for me to not get on. Like I didn't get it on anything, and it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. And I get for the story they had to go back and do the Ra's al Ghul and all the him being in the prison or whatever, but
Yeah.
they did too much of that, and I think that's what ruined it for me. But it's still a great movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Number 2 would be the Godfather series, basically just 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The third one is what it is. And then number 1 series all time for me is the James Bond series.
I mean, that's hard not to. I love all of them.
I could even give you the rank of my James Bonds. I've always been a fan of James Bond. I don't know why. It's just been a
What's your instead of giving the rank, just what's your favorite James Bond?
Sean Connery.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't really like James Bond movies, but I like them. I just never really got hugely
Who's
into them.
number 2?
Roger Moore.
Okay,
Mine's Pierce Brosnan.
And then Pierce.
Pierce.
Yep.
I like Pierce. See, I'd probably go Pierce then Roger Moore.
And
just
then
mine.
as your 1 and then 2.
No. 2 and
Sean's
3.
your-
yeah, Sean.
Timothy Dalton is my least favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, not a big fan of that.
no.
But I've always loved them. I think they're great. I think
They're great movies.
so. There's mine.
Perfect.
It's a good list.
So you get to do sequels.
Me?
Yep.
All right. All
And,
right.
and this is one that's probably going to be open to interpretation because
I did better than the
I
original.
wrote all I did is text the word sequels. And
Yep.
Yeah, so this could be the way I interpreted this is it's any movie after the first.
gotcha.
It could
So
be in a series. It could be in a.
I did it the same way he did. Is I interpreted it as, and I didn't explain it, so it's whatever. I just said, I interpret it as sequel that is better than the original.
Okay, that's not quite how I did it, but it's kind of how it worked out. I'll explain it when we get to mine. I'll just
Gotcha.
explain it.
Okay. Well, under that, better than the original. Number 5, Toy Story 2.
Okay,
One of the best animated movies.
I didn't really go for animation on anything that I did.
It
I probably should have thought of
it
that.
snuck in there.
Yeah,
I watched
I've
a lot of
heard
them.
a lot of people love Toy Story 2 is one of the greatest.
yeah.
I mean, if we're
sequels.
going Disney wise, I'm going to say Ratatouille. But anyways, Toy Story 2, number 5. Number 4, Terminator 2, which was already on my list. Number 3, Ted 2. Number 2, The Dark Knight. And number 1, Godfather Part 2. In
We're gonna have a couple of the same.
that I definitely think Dark Knight.
Well,
Is-
we don't have any.
I didn't put it
The
on
same.
any of the other lists, but originally I was like, well, I'll just put it on the sequels because I like that one the most out of that series. So
Gotcha.
Okay. These are not going to be in any particular order except for the top two. But explaining again, when I say these, it's because they are technically sequels to that specific movie. So I guess we can go with that, except for
Gotcha.
one of them. So number 5 is Marvel Endgame,
okay,
and we'll just tie that to Infinity War, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Mad Max Fury Road, which was technically the first of the remake, but it follows the original story. Which
Gotcha.
I think is better than the original.
Than the
story.
original version.
Correct. Captain America: Civil War was one for me, and then it goes Dark Knight and Godfather 2.
Yeah, I like it.
I think Civil War took a turn for the Marvel universe,
yeah,
and I think for the good.
yeah.
I think it was a great movie.
It was a big culmination of what needed to happen.
It was, and it was. They brought in so many of the characters for a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't an Avengers movie; it was a Captain America movie, and they brought in all the. That's where,
Yeah,
Perfect. I went, like I said, I ranked them as sequels that are better than the original. And for number 5, I took Major League 2. It's better than Major League. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
and I saw Major League 2 before I ever saw Major League. And then I went and watched Major League, and I do not like the movie Major League.
So I guess
It's all right. I just don't like it.
when I put it down, I meant like probably
The two of them.
The two of them.
yeah, because they're kind of
Yeah.
interchangeable.
I just put Major League, but the
I gotcha.
second one's definitely probably.
Yeah,
so we're not gonna fight over
Okay,
that. It's
okay, that's fine. I just didn't know. Like it seemed like that was the one. That,
No, I just said Major League. I didn't really
Yeah.
think about.
Major League 2 for me it's such a great movie. It's so much better than, in my opinion, it is that much better than the original.
Yep.
For number 4, I went with a Naked Gun, 33 and a third. just such a
I didn't even think of Naked Gun.
Naked Gun was close to my trilogies, like
Yeah.
or series. It's hard to like leave that off.
That's
'cause there's-
wild.
Leslie, what's his
It's
name?
Leslie Neeson.
Leslie
Nielsen.
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. And then 33 and a third, you have, and he was in a bunch of them. We have O.J. Simpson in it, and it's just 33 and a third was so hilarious when I was a kid growing up.
His comedic delivery is
so
we
great.
probably won't see it.
Probably not. 'Cause it's just, oh yeah. And I remember the one scene that sticks out every time is they're like having a shootout in the copy room or whatever, and they're sitting on the other side of desks, and they run out of bullets and they start throwing, like they throw the gun and then they start throwing staplers. Like that's how they're having their little shootout, is they're just throwing shit at each other. It's oh god, it's such a great movie. Such a great movie. And then number 3, I went with Mighty Ducks D2.
Ooh.
That's a hot take because a lot of people disagree with that, but I think D2 is way better than
Because
the
D2
original.
was the Olympic one, right?
Yeah.
I like that one a lot
yeah.
better. I would
I
have to agree with
love
you.
D2.
Can't believe I even forgot
I'm
about
mad
the
I
Mighty
forgot
Ducks.
about that on the
Yeah.
sports one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to leave the Mighty Ducks off of both the series and the sports one.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the wrestler off and put the Mighty Ducks back on.
You're
Mighty Ducks. It's the whole reason I like hockey.
you're going to take the D2 or Mighty Ducks on your sports one, or just both of them together?
Just both of them together.
It's
makes
tied.
sense.
We'll make it
Because
just like the
3
Major
is
League
not
one.
that good.
Yeah.
I don't like 3. I didn't get into 3. I did watch the Disney Channel remake with Emilio Estevez came back, and I don't
His
remember.
coaching and
He was a
all
coach. It was kind of, it was cute. It wasn't awesome, but it was cute
It's
for a
not
new
that-
generation
that. Yeah.
of kids. It kind of trying to bring people back into the Mighty Ducks
With the
franchise.
softened
Yeah.
edges
Yeah.
around them.
A little
old
bit.
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just love that D2 to me it's better than 1. But
Yep.
so I went with that, and then number 2 I went with Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the original. I like the original; it's good, but I love that Live Free or Die Hard one. I think it's better than everything else in that series. In all honesty,
That's the one with
Justin Long's
Justin
in that
Long.
one.
Yep. I would agree. That's the best Die Hard.
It's so
It's-
good. It's
The
kind of
vil-
got a
the
little bit of
villain dude
everything.
that's in that one. Fantastic.
The Timothy Olyphant, I think, is his
Yeah.
name.
Oliphant. Yeah.
Oliphant.
He's
Yeah.
a good actor.
He's
Yeah.
a great actor. A great movie. I just love that movie. And then my number one sequel that's better than the original, I went with Ghostbusters 2.
Ooh.
I think the second one's better than the original. The second one's the one with the slime on the subway.
Yeah.
I love that one. I love that movie. It's kind of one of my favorite movies.
Interesting. I didn't see that one coming either.
Yeah. It's kind of a hot take on number one, actually.
Kind of, yeah.
I like Ghostbusters 1 more. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah.
I like Ghostbusters 2 better.
It's kind of like having the conversation with my wife about Ace Ventura, and she says number 2 is better. And I'm like, are you? She's like, that's the first one I saw. Like,
I think 2's better than 1. That's my personal opinion, but on the Ace Ventura side of it, but
yeah.
I was close to trying to find a way to get Ace Ventura into something too for me.
Yeah.
Into
I didn't even think about it. I probably
it was
should've.
on my list, and I mean,
I remember my brother running around talking with his
Yeah.
asshole going, you got Banaka? The whole thing.
Yeah, Jim Carrey didn't make the list on anybody for comedy, did we?
I have him on Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay. All right.
Man.
I would have felt bad if we didn't have him on there at all.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to make it.
The Mask was a solid one, too.
It was on my list.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of.
Were those
I
in
wrote a
order
bunch-
for you?
That's in order
So
for me.
Ghostbusters number 2 is your favorite sequel of all time.
Favorite sequel that's better than the original.
Of all time.
That's what he said.
Just interesting. I just didn't see that coming. Not saying it's a bad thing.
I don't. So I think maybe I did it as I ranked them 5 through 1 of what's better than the original.
Gotcha, okay.
How much better they are than the original.
okay.
In my view,
Okay.
like
I got you now.
I
Makes
think
sense.
like I don't like the original Ghostbusters. I'm not a big fan of watching it. Like,
Gotcha.
if I was gonna go watch Ghostbusters, I'm not watching the original. I'm watching Ghostbusters 2. Like if I'm going to watch a Die Hard, I'm going to watch Live Free or Die Hard, not watching the other ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then as we get closer up, I'll watch those other ones ahead at like D2. I will watch Mighty Ducks. And Major League 2, I will watch Major League,
Okay.
that type of stuff.
Gotcha. Makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
That's kind of how I ranked them, I guess.
Okay. I'm not even sure where are we as far as who's going.
I did sequels, right?
Oh, you did sequels?
You started sequels?
Yeah.
Just then
Oh, so I was the last one. So Cult Classics is on you.
okay. All right. Number 5, A Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
One of my it's up there for me as far as one of my favorite movies. Pulp Fiction, number 4, and then I threw in Shaolin Soccer again as a cult classic, Hot Fuzz as a cult classic, and then my number 1 cult classic is Reservoir Dogs.
Nice.
I like that list.
There's a little bit of overlap for us, so.
Yeah, I couldn't leave them off the cult classic because they are, and I didn't want to I didn't want to put something else in there over it because I like these better.
Yep.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yep. So sorry there is some overlap from before, but
I guess I don't have overlap on this one, but I have overlap on other things. For me, I kind of went cult classic deep cut type thing, kind of like I talked about, like Lucky Number 11.
Yep.
I think could technically be a cult classic. There were some other ones in there that we talked about, like Jerk. You could probably call as a cult classic because there's a lot of people that haven't seen the Jerk.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the only one I have on my list that would be considered cult classic stuff. So mine, I went number 5. I went with Reign Over Me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. Yeah. That's it's got Don Cheadle and
like Rain, like RAA.
REIGN. Over Me. Yeah, it's got Adam Sandler and his wife died in the Twin Tower attacks, and he kind of goes into, he's weird. He just listens to his headphones all the time. He becomes a loner and stuff like this, and he listens to the song "Rain Over Me" all, like anytime he freaks out. He just It's just such a it's a tearjerker. It's super sad. It's extremely sad.
Never
movie.
seen it.
It's a movie you would never think that Adam Sandler would be in.
Jada Pinkett Smith. What are you doing?
Yeah. Wow. That's
It's a dark
this movie
comedy
is
drama.
There's no comedy to this one. Wow.
It says it's a dark comedy.
I don't think it's comedy at all.
They probably only called it a dark comedy because Adam Sandler's in it.
that would be my guess.
Yeah. There's a comedian in this.
It's a great. I would tell anybody go watch that movie. It's a great movie if you want some good emotion running through you. It'll make me tear up. I will probably cry watching that movie.
Yeah.
So. Number 4, I went with Division III football's finest. Such a great movie.
I've never heard of that one either.
Have you heard of that one?
No.
It's an Andy Dick movie, and it's so good. He goes and is a coach. He gets fired from a previous coach because he was coaching like youth football, and he ends up accidentally putting like Rohypnol in the Gatorade and knocks all the kids out. And then they bring him in to coach this team because he's terrible, and he ends up making this team pretty good.
I've seen this before, like
There's a lot of
cover
TikTok
there.
stuff about it. It's such a good movie. It's a great movie. So if you want to just laugh your ass off for the whole movie, it's funny. Like there's a dad and a son that play on the team together. And they like walk around like shock the nation because they're gonna be champions. They think it's just such a great movie.
It's got a pretty good cast.
Yeah, it's got Corolla in it. Yeah, it's a great movie.
I love
It's
Sasso.
hilarious. Brian Callen's in it.
Huh.
It's a good movie. And then number 3, I went with Big Lebowski as a cult classic. I know Ryan was gonna have it somewhere.
Yep.
It's a good movie. I love Big Lebowski. To me, I didn't love it as a comedy, so I wanted it somewhere on my list, so I put it on my cult classics. And number 2, I went with Office Space.
Solid one.
And then my number 1 overall cult classic of all time, hands down, this was like the 4th thing I wrote down on any of my lists, was Boondock Saints.
That's the one I missed on my list.
I know. I kind of assumed that's what it was when you said that. I was like, I got you.
Yep.
I love Boondock Saints.
It's a great movie.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
I'm sad that I forgot about it, actually. I'd probably remove Shaolin Soccer and put
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints in there.
Into your cult classics.
Mhm.
You already got Shaolin Soccer, so we're just
Yep,
going to go ahead and do that for you.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do a lot of editing on the fly here.
Yep. I'm going to do that right now.
Well,
Good list.
that's a good list. A little bit of overlap. So I'm going to go number 5, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's still, I'm surprised I didn't even put it on the comedy side, but it's fantastic.
I never really got into the Monty Python stuff. Like, I like it. I'll watch them. But I just don't
get
love
into
them.
either. I don't know if it might not be my style of comedy, but
Yeah,
I think
it's a very dry comedy,
Yeah.
right? Number 4, I have Reservoir Dogs. I love that movie. Tarantino doing a great job. Number 3, Pulp Fiction, which again, I love that movie. Number 2, I have Boondock Saints. That used to be my number 1 forever, and then I got introduced to The Big Lebowski, and that became my number 1. Number 1, for me, Big Lebowski is one of those I could watch it for 30 minutes and just not watch it for a couple days, pick up where I left off. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Love it. It's the best movie about nothing.
yeah.
Teaches you a good lesson. Stay the fuck in your lane. Don't worry about if some Chinaman pees on your rug.
That's some good lists. You and I had a lot of crossover
Yeah.
on that one.
Yep.
I've been a huge Tarantino. There could have been more on here, but I thought about
Dusk
A
Till
Clockwork
Dawn.
Orange, Dust Till Dawn, but I thought about A Clockwork Orange, and I was going to take it off, and I'm like, no, because I need Stanley Kubrick on the list
Yep.
Yeah.
somewhere. Otherwise, I'm going to hate myself.
So you had to put it there. So
I had to
get
put it
that.
somewhere. Yeah.
I had a
That's fantastic.
hard time on that cult classic one keeping Breakfast Club off.
I was on my.
It's one of my
It's on
favorite.
5 is tough. 5 is
It's hard to
very
get to
tough
5.
when you're not doing
Yeah.
ties.
Ties.
Yeah. When you're not doing
It's still
ties.
hard when I'm doing ties. 6 is
30 of
hard.
them.
6 is ridiculously hard.
I mean, I put 7 in my top 1 for sports. So.
Did you know that A Clockwork Orange has the longest boob shot, consistent boob shot of
I did
all
not
time.
know
I
that.
did not know that. That's a fun fact.
That's a fun fact you learned as a child and never forgot, didn't you?
Have you guys seen it?
I've never seen
I've seen
Clockwork
it.
Orange.
So it's when he's got the eye goggles on, and they put that girl in front of him. It's the longest shot of her walking toward, it's like 35, 40 seconds, just constant. That's all that's on the screen for a long time. You need to watch it. It's a good one.
I've never seen it. I'll
Play
have
it?
to watch it. I did see it
Rewind.
when I was
Play?
yeah
Yeah.
when I was reading or researching like what people would consider cult classics, because I kind of went with what I consider a cult classic, but I kind of wanted to see what was a general consensus on cult classic, and I saw Clockwork Orange a lot on a lot of lists. So
Yep.
It's rough. It's a I don't know how to explain it.
It's artistic.
what type of
more of
movie
an
is it? Like a drama?
Drama, not really action.
Horror-ish, almost, isn't it? It's kind of a thriller. I
It's
guess, not
basically
horror,
trying
but
to change this guy's
It's a psychological one.
psychological thriller.
Psychological thriller.
They're trying to change this. He's
pull it
a
up.
basically the guy's like a rapist. He's a alcohol abuser, and then they put him into psychiatric thing, and then he goes through all this weird
Reformation shit.
yeah.
Hallucinating type.
There it is.
You might not. It might not be up your alley, but I definitely would give it a try. But it's definitely.
I might have to try it.
And we can.
And my three droogs, that is Pete, Georgie, and Dim. And we sat in the Korova milk bar trying to make up our Razoo docs what to do with the evening. The Korova milk bar sold Milk Plus, which is what we were drinking. This would sharpen you up and make you ready for a bit of the old ultra-violence.
Hi there, my little droogies. The evening's the great time, isn't it, Alex Bun?
He's enterprising, aggressive, young, bold, vicious. He'll do.
Who on earth could that be?
Now it was lovely music that came to my aid, a bit of the old Ludwig van.
Biddy well, little brother. Biddy well.
Featuring a new documentary with Malcolm McDowell.
Stanley actually assures me we'll stick the lid locks in and in 10 minutes we'll do the shot. 10 minutes for a Stanley Kubrick shot? I don't think so.
Stop it, please, I beg you! Food, all right. Great stuff, great. Try the wine.
71.
A Clockwork Orange, the 40th anniversary edition.
So yeah. Just it's one of those.
Yes,
Different. It's different.
not completely up my alley.
No.
I would give it a try, but that's not something that I would go out of my way to watch. Like
Yeah.
if I were to watch that preview without somebody saying you need to watch it, I'm probably gonna just like see that preview and be like,
Just knowing you, I don't think you're gonna like it, but I think you need to watch it one time,
gotcha.
in my opinion. But I forgot about the eating scene. It's good. The old in and out.
You say so.
It's good.
All right.
Maybe not your. Maybe again, not up your alley. It's
Probably not up my alley. I can tell you right now, that's not the type of movie I would watch.
Yeah.
Like generally, and I didn't know that was the same guy. Like
I didn't put it together either, but then
until
I
I saw
that's
it,
wild.
like it doesn't even look like him until like you're looking. I was like, oh, maybe a little bit.
And I had heard stories. They did the eye thing was the whole thing, and they did it really there, and it's like I couldn't do it.
Oh, it'll be real quick.
Yeah,
He said for 10 minutes.
yeah.
He said they told him 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was much longer than that. Like you do that for 10 minutes, that's got to be brutal.
Yep.
On your eyes got to get so
Well,
dry.
so they have that nurse sitting there. I think they put that in later with eye drops.
Oh,
like as part of the movie,
so they could
adding
keep eye drops,
so they could keep his
because
eyes
he was
closed.
like dying. This is like pure torture.
Yeah.
That's real torture. That's like almost waterboarding.
Correct.
That would be brutal. I like the list. I'll have to try that out sometime.
They're more artistic. They're more.
Yeah.
You really got to pay attention. So you can't like watch it while doing something else.
Yeah.
Or it's got to be one you got to pay attention to.
Yep. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to move into overall. And this one, obviously, on my overalls are all on my list, -1, and it's a tie for 5th. But everything is on a list, and I just ranked them as my top 5 overall. Number 5, I did do a tie because I didn't know where to put The Lion King. And it's one of my favorite movies. And I didn't really know where to put it on any of my lists.
Drama.
Yeah, I could, but I like a lot of the
we
other
could have
movies.
did animated.
I
But
could have.
Yeah, could have done animated, but I didn't really know where to put it, so it just ended up where it ended up. And it's between that and Aladdin, my 2 favorite animated movies, Disney movies of all time.
Aladdin is a good one.
I do love Aladdin. But so I went with Lion King and Tombstone tied for number 5.
It's a weird combination.
I mean,
I'm your
5A, 5B.
I'm your Huckleberry.
It's Huckleberry. I don't know if I was this many years old. It would literally happen this year when I found out that it wasn't Huckleberry.
It's Hucklebear.
It's Hucklebearer.
Hucklebearer. Okay.
That's what they used to call a pallbearer.
I'll be your Hucklebearer.
So he's saying, I'll be your pallbearer.
All right.
That's a new thing I
didn't know
literally
that.
just learned.
I've
this-
always been saying
this year.
berry.
Yeah, it's I'll be your Hucklebearer.
Okay, I'll remember that now.
And number 4 is Boondock Saints. Number 3 is 300. Number 2 is Dark Knight. And number 1, Shawshank Redemption.
You have 300 on your overall top of all time, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I love the movie 300.
It's a great movie.
great movie.
Didn't make my list or anything, but it was definitely thought about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that list. It's good.
Good list. Yeah, I was torn on number 5, but
So
We can do a tie. If you need to add a tie, just
I
go ahead.
could, but it's
You got
not
like
on my list.
6 of them
anymore.
you want to put on number 5?
Nope.
You could probably put 7 number 5s in there if you
Just go
want.
back. My whole list that I had previously, just put it all on
Yep,
there for my
it's all
overall.
number 5.
Whatever order you want to put it in.
I'm gonna say Godfather Part 2 is my number 5.
Oof. Interesting to see what the next ones are going to be.
Number 4, I'm gonna put an animated movie, Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille.
Can you explain?
Have you never watched Ratatouille?
I've watched it.
I do. I don't like it.
Dude,
but
it's
that's
fantastic.
So you're.
I think it's a good movie.
It's just such a. It's an underrated movie from Disney by far. I feel like.
I think it gets a lot of attention. No?
Eh,
Or am I wrong?
I feel like this is the generational thing.
yeah.
Okay.
I think this is back into that 5-year gap that we're
Okay.
talking about. Like,
Okay.
I love cooking, so that
I get
might be part
that
of
aspect of it, yeah.
I mean, it's that entire aspect, and just
It's a
don't know.
good story.
It's one of those I could sit and watch, and that's the way I looked at it. Is if it's on, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna
Interesting.
like, and if my kids are looking for something they're not quite sure, I'm gonna steer them in that direction. Because, I mean, I could put Wreck-It Ralph in that aspect too, from the newer generation movies, but Lion King and Hercules were also kind of honorable.
Hercules was good.
Hercules would have been more my time frame. Lion King was my biggest for a long time, but they didn't make any of my lists.
I just think it's. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I just can't believe it's number 4
Yeah, of all
on
time.
your all time.
I fucking love it.
It's
I don't know
wild.
what it is. It's just
I'm not trying to knock it down or anything. I just think it's wild. I didn't go with any animation whatsoever.
yeah.
So both of you went with animation, and I probably should have maybe went into my heart a little bit.
open up that heart.
Bring that inner child out a little bit.
You know,
Instead, I showed you a movie that has rape and murder.
It's a
You said, go watch it.
To follow that up, Lion King.
Guy's wearing a penis nose. And to follow that up, my favorite movie of all time, Lion King. This guy's a serial killer over here.
It's all over the spectrum. Number 3, I had Boondock Saints.
Still can't believe I forgot that one. I'm mad at myself.
It's
so good.
number 2 is probably going to shock you too. Princess Bride. That's my number 2.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I don't remember
so
it being that good, and it's been on 2 of your things and your second overall of all time.
Of all time.
I don't remember it being that fantastic.
The guy, Mandy Patinkin, one of the best fucking lines of the whole movie. He's sitting on the boat and he's like, "Is there any way somebody could be following us?" And the guy, "No, inconceivable, no possible way." "Why do you ask?" "Well, I just happened to look behind me and there's somebody right there." It's like the cast, the story is just ridiculous, but the cast.
It had Andre the Giant in it.
Yep, he's Fessick.
Fred Savage. Peter Falk.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go back and Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Yep. He plays the guy that brings him back to life. I actually read the book for the first time.
I don't know that I have ever watched this.
I've heard of it, and I feel like I've seen it, but I maybe have never seen it.
Maybe we'll do our let's watch the thing. Okay. Because now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, especially with you putting it in your
number 2
overall. Like, I'm actually kind of frustrated with myself that I put
As
Boondock
you
at
wish,
4.
the beloved Twisted Fairy Tale, The Princess Bride, is coming to Collector's Edition DVD in 2 different limited edition packages.
What?
The Dread Pirate Edition for the swashbuckler.
Amazing. It ought to be after 20 years.
And the Buttercup Edition for the romantic.
I will always come for you.
How can you be sure?
This is true love.
Inconceivable.
High adventure.
The cliffs of insanity.
Bye-bye, boy.
Have fun storming the castle.
Epic romance.
My Wesley will always come for me.
Your Wesley is dead.
I've seen worse.
Unforgettable characters.
Hello, lady.
Have you the wit?
And rodents of unusual size.
I don't think they exist.
Inconceivable.
All on a 2-disc DVD set of unusual size.
I'll call the Brute Squad.
I'm on the Brute Squad.
With a feast of all new special features.
This is a cast of my face. I don't normally look like this. It makes it easy to improvise. Put some stuff on your face and we'll fly with it.
And not too much kissing. The Princess Bride.
I'm killing myself once we reach the honeymoon suite.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Dread Pirate and Buttercup Editions. Something the whole family can enjoy forever and ever.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Okay, now after seeing that, I think I've seen at least some of it or pieces of it.
Pieces.
Was that? It said 1987. Is that what it said?
Yep.
So was that like one of the first like where they're kind of making fun of
fairy tales
a little bit?
The way it's shot is this little boy. He's a big Chicago Bears fan. He's sick and he's sitting in bed, and his grandpa comes over to read him a story, and he's like, "I'm gonna read you this story," and he's like, "It's not one of those kissing books, is it?" And that's Fred Savage, and he's like, "No, it's got all this other stuff in it. There's a little bit of that." All right, well, let's listen to it.
Oh no!
So then he reads it, and those guys, you gotta overlook.
I don't know if I can on this one.
I don't understand. Like, that's the problem on all movies, though. Like, you have to overlook these fucking clowns' politics, or we'll never watch a movie.
I know.
Yeah.
He's just one of the worst.
He's fucking terrible.
But I can tell you right now, from a creative standpoint,
I can tell by that. It looks pretty good.
It's fantastic. And every actor commits to it 100%. Like,
yeah. You know what? Watching that preview made me think and kind of pissed me off that I missed out on.
What's that?
It's a sequel that's better than the original. City Slickers 2. That probably would have been number 1 or number 2 on my list.
Really?
Of better than the original. Like, it's City Slickers 2 is so good compared to City Slickers. And I love City Slickers 2. I love that movie. Billy Crystal. I completely forgot about Billy Crystal until we were watching this. He's in a lot of good movies for me.
He is.
I completely forgot about Billy Crystal. That's surprising.
Sorry to go off on a tangent there, but I really had to see what it was if it was your number 2 movie.
No, yeah.
But I can see it.
Number 1, I have Big Lebowski.
Kind of saw that coming.
Which is Yeah.
I saw that coming.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Okay. Overall, and I don't think I put these in any kind of order, but we'll go from number 5. So No Country for Old Men, Inglourious Bastards, Inception, The Dark Knight, Godfather Part 2.
There's a theme.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Good
all
list.
those movies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not Godfather 2, but I like
I've
all
just
those
turned,
other ones.
there's only so many movies I can watch anymore, and it has to have certain things. It has to have some action. It has to have a good dialogue, a good story.
Do you have I was thinking about this earlier. I have anxiety about watching new movies a little bit. I think that's the only thing I get anxiety about. Like I would probably rather watch a movie I've already seen than because I just watch.
You don't want to waste time.
Oh my God.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You're having anxiety about wasting your time?
Just like I don't want to waste the time on this movie, not wasting time. Just like this movie in particular.
You know what to expect from the movies that you like, so it's a comfort thing.
It's a comfort thing. Yeah.
And
Like we just watched a movie together on a new movie that came out on Netflix maybe, or I think it was Netflix, but it's Ben Stiller was in it. Some movie about his like sister's kids, and is around Christmas time, and he's either got to get them to adoption or he's got to take care of them. It's like a love or like a heartwarming story where he ends up doing these kids, but like it was such a bad movie. It was a fucking god awful movie, and it was 2 hours of my life I'll never get back, and I'm mad that I watched it.
I think the problem is Netflix has ruined a lot of movies.
But Netflix has got some really good movies. Netflix originals.
They do, but they
Like,
also
they have a bunch that almost made my list.
They're running the list. They're creating movies in the way that like Hallmark makes movies, right?
Some.
This one was like a bad Hallmark movie.
That's what I'm saying.
This
like,
particular one.
They give you very limited, big budget movie, right? And then a lot of them are the cookie cutter. Let's just pump it out. Let's saturate.
Probably
the
because they have
market.
to have so many in a certain genre.
Yeah. And they just saturate the market, and they're like, well, we got to fill some sort of quota type thing to get movies out. I don't know. I'm not a fan of what's happened with the streaming and how it's affected the movie culture a little bit. But
It's different.
like some of it.
I like that I can watch movies whenever. I can
like
be
that
like, I want to
aspect.
watch this movie, so I just Google.
Where's
click
it
the
streaming?
movie. Where is it streaming? Oh, I have that. Click on that. Go watch it.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. I do. I just think the creative quality of some of them, because a lot of big movie industries aren't willing to pay that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know, for blockbusters.
Yeah.
And then like all these movies, I've seen all multiple times and have no problem going back and watching them all multiple, and like everything on all these lists that I have no problem going back and watching those. Like, and I'd be comfortable watching those.
I get tired of them trying to remake the classics, I guess, too. Like, come up with something new. I like the new stuff.
That's been going on for a long time.
I know. It
or
always
book
has.
adaptations.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can think of a really good recent movie that was like not
just an actual
from a book.
What was the one about the chef? Was it called the Chef?
With Bradley
That was a
Cooper?
different one. No. It was a kind of a horror thriller. It's got the dude that played Voldemort.
You're talking about the one where they eat people or whatever?
He doesn't eat anyone, but he murders like all of them.
But they eat the people, don't they?
No.
Oh, I've seen the TikToks.
Is that the one where she asked for like a burger?
Yep.
Okay.
That one.
And he's like, you
That
eat
was a
whatever I
solid-
serve you or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a solid
I've only
movie.
seen it on TikTok.
I've only seen the TikToks of it.
It looks like a good movie.
It's fantastic.
It looks like a movie I have no desire to watch because it's a horror movie, and I'm like, I don't want
you'd
to
like
do
it.
it.
It's not cannibalism. I'll tell you that much. It's just a chef that.
I love that you don't like it. So what about horror movies is the problem? Because you had
The problem is you'd like this guy because he's actually going after like entitled people
Yeah.
that have a lot of money that think that they're better than everyone, and he's like, you're gonna pay ridiculous money to eat this food and say it's delicious, but ultimately I'm just gonna kill you all.
Yeah, but it just blows me away that he has Resident Evil. What else did you have? You had something else on there too, didn't you?
Underworld. Was
I talked about Underworld.
Yeah.
That's not really horror movies though.
Resident Evil kind of is.
I mean, it's
Little
not
bit.
really.
For not liking baseball, you had fucking baseball movies on the sports list.
I had a lot of baseball movies actually, and I don't like baseball.
It's just wild. I don't know.
Ghostbusters
That's also why he didn't put it in the.
is the one that
It wasn't a
shocked the fuck
category.
out of me.
By the way,
Ghostbusters shocked you?
Yeah.
What about Ghostbusters shocked you?
You're number 2. Like that one.
this is number 1 sequel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that one blew me away.
That I think 2 is better than 1?
Yeah,
No, I think that's correct. I think you're.
I
right
think
on
2
that.
is better than 1.
man.
I'm not talking like the new Ghostbusters. The new ones suck.
Oh
all
yeah,
of them.
they're all terrible.
Like they're all not good.
They're not.
I haven't watched the newest one.
You didn't like the
Frozen
all-female
Empire.
one?
Dude, definitely didn't like that one. That one was fucking garbage.
That was just
that was
just an SNL spinoff. Is all that was.
that was a really bad time in movie culture for a period of time where we went, oh, we got to get more women empowered movies and fuck off. Your Ocean 8s is garbage. Your Ghostbusters female cast was fucking garbage. Like, stop with this bullshit. The only one that was good was anything that had Jenny McCarthy or whatever her name is, because she is fucking hilarious. She is one of my favorite actors. The Heat with her and
Sandra Bullock.
That's another
good
comedy. I laugh my ass off the entire movie. Like the whole movie, I laugh. It's so funny. She talks about her cat. Just like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I die laughing in that movie. That movie's so funny. But no, yeah. Well, I do want to ask real quick. It's Christmas time. Obviously, this is going to come around Christmas time. So what's everybody's favorite Christmas movie? Mine's going to be a 3-way tie. So
Godfather.
Part 2.
We're going to go real Christmas, not movies, not this other bullshit.
Elf is up there.
Yeah.
Trying to think of Christmas movies.
My number
put me
one
on
is
the spot
Christmas
here.
Vacation.
It's a good one.
I got mine.
Then The Grinch.
The original or Tim Allen or
The Jim Carrey
Carrey one.
And I do like the original more than the Benedict Cumberbatch one. The remake one that came in 2018. Like I like the.
He was in a Grinch. He did really?
He was the voice of the Grinch in 2018.
It's a animated one. I hate that one. I
that
can't
one
stand that new one.
If we're going off of Grinch movies, that's third. But
so mine is. I have a 3-way ties between the two you just said, Elf and Christmas Vacation, and then the original Grinch, the 30-minute Dr. Seuss Grinch. I love that. I love that movie. I love the music. I love the voice of the guys from Omaha. Just such a great movie. Such a great movie.
Santa Claus is Coming to Town's another solid one for me.
Yeah.
I like that old style.
I do like the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies.
The Tim Allen ones would be like right below those three for me.
The Year Without a Santa Claus, that's another solid one.
I'm not a big a Christmas Story person.
I don't like the Christmas Story.
The older I get, the more I like that one.
Really?
And I watched the sequel they made to that, which come out on HBO, I believe. I highly recommend watching that one.
Really?
It's very good.
See, I've never really liked the Christmas Story. I've never understood why people love it so much.
See, I didn't like it growing up, and then I don't know, something about becoming a dad and then rewatching it. It's like, dude, yep,
yeah,
this is Christmas. You're sitting here trying to do
the one
whatever
thing
it
that's
takes for your kids. And
thinking about this Christmas movie, like when people try to make movies that aren't Christmas movies, I do believe that the Home Alones are a Christmas movie.
I was just going to ask you
Like
that.
I think they are. Like,
I mean, there's a debate there where you
they're
could go
closer
either
than
way.
the Die Hard.
Yeah, because I mean,
like it's about Christmas.
Yeah,
and especially Home Alone 2. Like because you have the Duncan's toy chest guy.
Yep.
And it's like he's talking about Christmas, all this stuff.
I mean,
and you have the
happen
Christmas
during-
Mass on Home Alone 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. That one to me, and I'm surprised that like those two movies are so big on my movie list that I didn't even write those movies down on anything. They're great comedy, great everything.
Do you like the Christmas Carol, any version of those?
Not a huge fan.
Not a fan.
The Muppet one is hands down the best out of all of those.
The This is showing Gremlins as a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Technically, he
Is
got
it?
it as a gift for Christmas. That was his gift for Christmas.
Ted would be a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
This has also got Bad Santa on here.
Yeah.
Bad Santa
Bad
is a
Santa.
great movie. I completely forgot about it. I didn't have any Billy. No,
You didn't have a Billy Bob Thornton.
I don't think I had Billy Bob Thornton on
I
anything.
didn't either. I don't think.
And he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is. Have either of you seen The Night Before?
The Night Before.
Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that.
Is it good?
It's all right. It's
Yeah,
decent.
It's putting it on here as a Christmas movie.
It would be a Christmas movie. It's about like it's all based on Christmas, I think.
Night Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas, sorry.
That's the Tim Burton one?
Yep.
I mean, that one.
I saw that when I was doing cult classic research. A lot of people consider that a cult classic.
It
It's high up on a lot of
technically
lists.
is,
I mean, and it works for both Halloween and Christmas. It
Yeah.
does. I mean, it's a solid.
It's decent.
What about Polar Express?
I don't
It
like
creeps
that
me
movie.
out.
It's a weird movie.
The what do they call that? Where the uncanny valley, where they look close to being real but not really.
Yeah.
Fucking weirds me out, man. I don't like it.
Have either of you seen Violent Night?
Yep, love it.
I have not
Is it
seen
good?
it.
I'll have to
fucking
watch it.
love it. If
Is
you
it that
like
good?
action movies,
Yeah.
you'll love it.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
It's got the dude, what's his name?
Harbor.
From Stranger Things. David Harbour.
David Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember as a kid, I liked the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, but I don't like the original.
So
The remake one was the one that had the little girl from.
Is this the remake,
from
Matilda?
Matilda.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the original, I think, was in black and white, if I remember right, and I'm not a big fan of that.
I mean, I watched some wild ones that were black and white, but it's now. I mean, it's an art form. If you're gonna do it, you have to do it in a tactful way. If you're just doing it just to be different, it's not. I don't know.
Well, Fred Claus.
Never
Yeah,
watched that one.
It's fun. It's got
It's a
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
It's
How
funny.
about Four Christmases? That one's fucking comedy gold.
It's funny. I did actually literally.
That's
went,
got Paul
I-
Giamatti in it too.
I
Fred
went
Claus.
to That's the brother. So Paul Giamatti is Santa Claus,
Yeah.
and then Vince Vaughn is the brother.
Yep.
And his name's Fred Claus. That's a really fun movie. And then the Four Christmases, I literally just went to bed last night. I fell asleep to that movie last night.
We were watching it. the
Such a
other day.
great movie.
I fucking love it.
It's so funny. It's
I
such a
forgot
funny
what's his
movie.
name.
Tim McGraw's in that one too,
McGraw.
huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
That only has a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's bullshit.
25% on Rotten
Favreau
Tomatoes.
It's
is
funny.
absolutely the best character. Oh my god!
Isn't it? What's his name? Dallas. I think John Favreau's name is Dallas. Remember right? Oh yeah, it's just
They do the
John
password.
Favreau and like your couple's retreat is fucking hilarious though too.
If you keep doing that, you're gonna end up at Applebee's alone. Are you saying you want me to go to Applebee's with you?
Anyway,
Overall, is there anything you guys want to like fight on each other about? Is there anything that we thought shouldn't be there?
I don't like your guys' Godfather takes and some of your other ones, but it's all right. Oh, we obviously have different tastes in movies, but there's a lot of crossover between all three of us.
Yeah.
On a lot of them.
You like more lighthearted. You're more of a comedic guy.
Yeah, I definitely am way more on comedy, more on
I'm more dark.
Yeah.
Action.
Sin City
killing.
wouldn't make any list for me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
See, I just think it's a great story.
It kind of goes back into I
Cinematic
hate the black
wise.
and white. I hate that weird. I just don't like it.
Artistically, I see it though. Like I can see that.
I get it.
side
People
of
like it. I just I've watched it. I've tried to give it 2 or 3 times, and it's just not.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think mostly, I think all the lists were pretty solid.
Yeah.
After I figured out what Princess Bride was,
I definitely.
because there for a while I was thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
It's
I was
worth watching, man.
I definitely had heard of it, and I was like, I don't know if I've
Andre
seen
the
this or
Giant,
not.
comedy gold, man.
Yeah.
That fucking guy. He
I was thinking of a newer movie when you said it the
Yeah.
first time in the
I was
comedies,
too.
Yep.
and I was like, "What is this guy doing? This is gonna be a crazy show."
Were you thinking Princess Diaries or something?
Maybe I don't.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like we're on some Reese Witherspoon shit or something for a minute. I was like, what?
Dude, I'm
Okay,
telling
sure.
ya.
I mean, Reese Witherspoon, she's in the fucking Four Christmases. She's funny.
Yep.
But
no, it's just completely ridiculous. The Princess Bride, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And again, I want to preface this with I went with things that had rewatchability for me.
yeah, I mean, these are all.
Yeah.
None of us are saying that this is.
And
we're
we've
not movie people, or like we're not like raters of movies.
Right.
And like this is a movie that I had a hard time leaving off as we're watching some shit. The Hangovers were hard for me to leave off of and finding out where to put them. There's so many
I didn't even
movies.
think about that one.
They were like a late edition, and then finally I was just like, I just got to pick out of what
As
I have.
far
I'm gonna
as
stop writing shit.
laughing through the whole movie, I think I almost have to go back and look at my comedies and maybe take something.
The
off.
original Hangover.
The original Hangover.
The original Hangover.
Yeah, it's
maybe
it's
I can
so
remove
good.
Hot
Carlos.
Fuzz since I have Hot Fuzz somewhere else. I have it. I think I have
You have
Hot
it on
Fuzz.
Cult Classic.
Hot Fuzz is fantastic.
Your Hot Fuzz is on a Cult Classic.
Right. So maybe we take it off of. comedies
Simon
and put the
Pegg is
Hangover
an
in there.
actor. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what his buddy's name is.
I can't remember it either, but they're great.
Great comedy duo.
Yeah. It'd be fun for people to comment on these and stuff when we put this out, like in the comments. Tell
Like
us
to
what
see
your
some of your lists. And
what your
Tell us
lists
how
are.
bad our takes were.
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I know I forgot a whole shitload because as we're going, I was sitting here going, well, I'm going to add this.
I forgot a whole person, so.
And if you want to give me
And
shit
you just
for Ratatouille,
for a minute
bring
you
it
thought
on.
you were racist. But you had one in there, so you just didn't even know. You didn't even know you had a movie about racism later down your list.
Yeah. I had one like that, and then I had an Asian one. Other than that, it's
I forgot about a whole dude. I forgot about Billy Crystal. Literally didn't make
Yeah.
any list. Like
Speaking
not
of
a
Billy
single
Crystal,
thing.
Well, I did have a Tom-
Monsters Inc. Fantastic
Yeah.
fucking.
I did have
movie.
a Tom Hardy movie though. I kind
You
of
did.
forgot about. I did
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Mad
Yeah,
Max.
you
yeah.
had him
We
in
were
there.
saying we didn't have him on there.
If we're going TV shows, Peaky Blinders, man, that's up there for me.
I haven't started
TV
watching
shows
it yet.
would be very hard if we ever do
Yeah.
a TV show one.
Yep.
I don't even
That's gonna be
know
tough.
how I would be able to do that.
I am biased because the genre that I typically fall into is the Sherlock Holmes buddy comedy duo shows. That's if you break it down, that's what it is. It's a retelling of some goofy, weird
Yeah.
guy and then his sidekick that he shits on a little bit.
Then I'm like the complete opposite of you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
again go more for the either thriller or action.
See, and I love those too, but out of my top 5 shows, I'm gonna have to say they're all three out of the 5 would be a buddy cop.
So
comedy
we would have the
duo.
complete opposite
Yeah.
for sure.
And so yeah, doing a list of TV shows for me would be whichever one I'm in the middle of rewatching again. It's
Yeah.
probably gonna like
It would definitely for me have
like
to go
if
with
we did
ones-
it right now, Lethal Weapon would be way up there because I'm trying to work that through right now. And
I would almost have to go with rewatchability and ones that I actually have gone through and watched more
multiple
than once.
times.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's
And-
only been a few series.
I've done it for quite a few.
My number 1.
I've watched The Office like 10 times, like
Oh,
all the way through.
The Office is great. I will give you that. But Ted Lasso, that's my.
That's a
number
good. I just watched that this year.
See,
The
it's-
first, it's so. Have you not
They're
watched
good.
it
They're
yet?
good. I haven't watched it yet, and obviously, The Office is a good show. It's just not my.
It's not your cup of
It's
tea.
not my thing. I
Dude,
just
Ted Lasso.
I can't do
though.
comedies watching.
Ted Lasso's a good movie because Ted Lasso I love because it's got you got you're tugging on your heartstrings. It's got your drama. It's got your comedy.
It's
little
got
bit
a little bit of everything, and it's got sports. And
Like I'm like Game of Thrones. Like that's my.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Game
I've
of
watched
Thrones
an
is solid.
episode or two.
I've watched it 3 times.
that would make my list.
The only show I've watched 3 times.
Now,
Really?
well, how do you feel about the ending of Game of Thrones?
Hated
That's my
it
question.
obviously, but
See, I don't get it because I watched it, and this might be part of me being somewhat autistic. Maybe I don't know. I called it that dude was going to be like the end. The
yeah,
kid that got pushed out of the
I
window.
saw that too. But it was the way how quick it was almost like they were just trying to get it out.
Well, yeah, all the contracts were coming up, and
Yeah.
so they were just
They just pushed it out
Pushed
and,
it
and
out.
didn't really give enough to the story.
yeah, it was
In
just
my
wham
opinion.
bam, everybody just gone. I can
Well,
see that.
Yep.
Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Game of Thrones.
You didn't say anything.
Well, enough.
You literally gave nothing away.
Fair enough.
You said the guy.
Yep.
I think spoiler alerts don't count after something's been out for a long period.
If
of
I've
time.
watched it 3 times,
You don't get it.
Spoiler alerts aren't there.
Yeah, it's tough luck because you're gonna find them anywhere you want to. You could literally go get like you used to be able to get the For Dummies books or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's probably a Game of Thrones For Dummies, and it's gonna give you the abridged version.
Yeah,
tell you everything.
Right. Anything else you guys want to touch on while we're doing this?
I think we got it good.
I think we're good.
Okay, well, this was a lot of fun. I think we should definitely do it again. Do another. We could do a TV series one, or we could even do like a certain genre.
We could do a baseball one.
I did I've talked about my 4. I basically got 4. That's it.
I was just
they're very high up on me.
in general.
Oh no, we're not gonna do a baseball one. I'll pass on that.
Well, I want to thank Ryan for being here today. It's always fun having you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And then, as always, thanks to Vance for co-hosting with me and making these shows good. So this will be out. You guys will be hearing this probably right. I don't know if it'll be that Thursday. Well, Christmas is on a Wednesday.
26th.
I'd imagine it'd be Thursday. Yeah.
So it'll probably be Thursday the 26th. You'll be hearing this on the 26th of December. We recorded it on the 16th of December. So hopefully,
So maybe these change by that time, but probably not.
No, they're not going to change. They're not going to change.
Maybe a new movie comes out, or we watch something new in the next couple. Maybe in the next 10 days, I watch Clockwork Orange and it becomes my favorite.
I
Dude. I'm telling you, if you watch Princess Bride, it's going to be
That's probably
your new
like a
number one.
plus 10,000.
If you even come back and say that you enjoyed it, I will be thoroughly surprised. I think you're going to come back and tell me that was the worst movie I've ever watched in my life.
I want to get your honest take on Princess Bride. That's what I want.
I'll have to watch that.
I'll try to. Do you know? Is it on any?
I don't.
Oh, we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
I own it, so that's the only thing I know.
Yeah. Well, thanks to these guys again. If you guys like this, go out and comment your favorite movies. Tell us how bad our takes were. Tell us that Ryan and I are shitty for thinking The Godfather is a good movie, like Vance said.
Yeah.
I didn't say you're shitty
Also,
for it. I just don't like it.
Remind everyone that Ghostbusters 1 is better than 2.
That's a terrible take.
And Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year if we don't talk to you before then. We got some good episodes coming out. Again, we'd like to have more of these soon. Hopefully we'll see more, and we'll see you guys next week.